Okay. Paladin. All right. We are talking. I'll give everyone time, of course. I could literally be doing like music intros and stuff into these lives. That's like kind of normal. That would be like a show or whatever. If I started to get more into my show bag, I'd be playing music so that we could give people time to get in here before we get into our topic. But whatever, I'm not playing music right now. That'll be for the future. Our topic is about how religions are built. Okay, so how are religions built straight up? There's so many religions in the world, and there's always going to be more religions. All right, don't think that people are going to stop making religions. Okay, so we're getting into the energy of how religions work, because when you understand why religions are built, then you can see how they're all doing the same thing but differently. Right. So you can also see how a religion that's new just stole something from a religion that's old, but it's acting like it's new. So, for example, most people in the world think that Christianity right now, they think that Christianity is somehow new when these Christian ideas are stolen from Zoroastrianism. These Christian ideas are stolen from Hermeticism. The ideas that make Christianity and Judaism work are stolen from ancient cultures. But of course, if you believe in the religions as they are today, the point of them stealing these things from ancient cultures was to act like they did it. So obviously, if someone built their world that you're living in through genocide and murder, they're not going to teach you about that, right? They don't want you to know about all the evil things they had to do to act like they love you, because otherwise you wouldn't want to support them. Right. So this is where we get the concept of religious wars and how people can believe in a religion, but not follow it at all, but still believe in it. Right. That's how all of the Americas was created. Was it not? A bunch of Christians acting like they love other people, but really they only love themselves. And their idea of love is just to eat things. It's not even real love. Like, it's not like your idea of love is to appreciate other people's religions and to leave them alone. Your idea of love is, oh, I need to hate them and they need to be our slaves. And now you're going to make up the Bible to weaponize slavery and justify why I, as a Native American, am now speaking an English language where I'm called black. When literally I'm a Native American, but because European Christians were like, we can't be alone in our religion, we're not happy alone with our religion, then they're going to force their way into North America and tell us that we are products of their imagination. So I'm letting you know how this is why people build religion. This is why this topic is really important, because religion is very simply created by individuals looking to connect with other individuals. So this is where you have to understand that you are God. Every single religion you can get into is going to be about you because you're God. This is why objectively, okay, I can't put this in any simpler way. You're God, and I'm about to make it make so much sense after I take a hit. All right, but it's going to make so much sense how I let you know how you're God, okay? Then you're going to be like, shit, maybe I should just stop running from myself. And we're going to build. Simply think about it like this. It's so simple. If you're born and you're not aware of any religion, that means that you as the individual made your life possible. From here, you can believe in 100 different religions. Like literally, you could go off and be like, okay, I'm going to go believe in 100 different religions over the course of your life. And each and every religion will say, I'm the one true God. So you can spend 3 years of your life believing in one religion where it says, I'm the one true God. And then you can spend another 3 years of your life believing in a totally different religion where they're saying, I'm the one true God. You can spend another 3 years of your life believing in a totally different religion. They're like, I'm the one true God. And you can just go through 100 religions created by 100 different families who are all separate from each other, but they're all saying they're the one true God. And you, as the one true God of your own life, are the ones making these religions possible. So now, because you don't want to be alone I'm letting you know why people believe in religions right now. Because you don't want to be alone in your ego. You don't want to be alone in your God. You would rather connect with other people about how you are all created by the same person. So someone who builds a religion, this is literally someone who simply believes in their ego first, where they're being so in their ego, they are erasing the individuality of others. And they're just looking around like, you know what? I made everything. And it's just like, okay, historically, is that true? Because you were just born. And like whatever ideas you're using to speak, saying you made everything, were made by people you haven't met. So like this will never end. Like Christianity, Judaism, they stole everything from Egypt. All right. Christianity, Judaism as a whole, Muslim, Islam, the whole idea of one God ruling over everything and all the religious ideas we have today, stolen from Egypt, stolen from Zoroastrianism, stolen from Hermeticism. All right. So when you understand that all of these religious ideas that people believe in are indigenous and from ancient cultures, then you can completely comprehend how they're all individuals connecting with each other. Like now you can make sense of your life when you look back like, wow, how did I believe in 100 different religions that all said they were the one true God? Because they were all individuals looking to connect with other individuals. So I'm getting into how nature is made, all right? Because all these religions are built with my shit. I, as Hermes, literally share Hermeticism, and you can Google how Hermeticism influenced all major world religions. You can Google how Zoroastrianism, another messenger of Mercury, also me. It's all me just talking about alchemy, all right? So when you hear me talking about basic alchemy, this is you being like, oh, so I can build a religion and get people to believe in it and I can make money? Yes. It's just a matter of if you want to or not. Like, do you care about controlling others or are you happy alone? Hermes is happy alone. So the whole idea of Hermeticism is to be happy alone because that's God. When you're truly happy alone as God, you don't need to conquer other people or make up excuses to spread genocide and murder to make them believe in your religion. That's not indigenous. So then now you can see how we were conducting business before the Industrial Revolution and before when we're living in Native America, quote unquote, in Wakantaka, in North, South, and Central America, when we have hundreds of individual indigenous tribes, right? How are they getting along that they're not all in one government? How are all these, that's literally the Europeans, right? Coming over to the Native Americas. Like, how are all these savages getting along when they don't believe in one God? They need us. And then they make up money to enslave everyone because they can't comprehend that we respect each other as individuals. So I'm letting you know the alchemy of what it takes to respect someone as an individual. Like, I can respect every religion when they're expressing themselves based on like how they want to believe that they created everything. Right. So now they have a made up story about how they created everything. And I can see how the elements play out in that. Like, OK, yeah, for sure. Your God is your fire. Your Lucifer is your water. Your human is your air. Your demon is your earth. All right. So when you comprehend how these are all elemental energies, you will literally see why religions classify entities who are in their fire element as God, entities who are in their water element as Luciferian, entities who are in their air element as humans, that's us right now. And then entities who are in their earth element are demonic. So this is why the Bible says the flesh is demonic. The body being of flesh is sinful because it's literally about the body being the demon to the human. So your mind is your air and your body is your earth. And your mind, your human, made your body so you can connect with other minds. So right now, your mind and my mind are connecting because we both made the same body, quote unquote. Obviously not the same body, right? But in physical reality, people, want to say that we're all just energy or whatever. But the point is, we have to use the same substance if we're going to connect with each other. I am not the substance I'm manipulating right now. I'm using this to communicate with you inside of this reality. That's the point of Earth. So I made my own mind as a spirit. That's me as my own individual human. The demon is always the moment I get born into a reality, will I get lost in that body? That's what demon energy is. Anytime you're born into a physical reality, getting lost in earth energy, getting lost in words, right? All these religions are demonic because people are lost in words. They're lost in earth, and it gets them lost in consuming. So now people would rather sacrifice and worship the murder of a man who fasted. But when I'm here talking about fasting, all the Christians in my life want to sacrifice me. And I see that subconscious story play out. People would rather sacrifice Chase when he's fasting and talking about the power of actually being God because they're more comfortable eating. Oh, this better work. Yes. So we're talking about the difference of literally consuming and eating. Think about God as the creator and a demon as a consumer. So fire as an element is supposed to be creative because it spreads out. It's the idea. It's the vision, right? This is why every religion, they'll describe God and angels as fire, as like huge lights, and like it's a whole vision thing. And they basically exist outside the universe because literally us as spirits, our egos exist outside of the universe. And we have to create a soul if we want to connect our ego to another ego. So that's the point of water killing fire. Okay, you can only hear this from me as Hermes. And again, you can now see, once you hear this, how every religion is using this. Because this is literally just how we work. Like right now, anytime you communicate, literally just like observe this inside of yourself. Anytime you communicate, before you say something, you first have an idea, and that's your ego. So think about all the ideas, all the imagination you can have, right? But it's all going into nothing. So that's your space. So you as a space have a completely separate space from everyone, and your ego shows that. The fact that you can imagine anything shows you that that imagination is infinite, but it's infinitely light. So that's fire. That's you being unrelatable. That's you being God. Like, this fire doesn't exist in reality. How do I make it connect? So you need water. And then that's the point of the soul killing the ego. That's how the vibration gives life to the frequency. So now we can see why scientifically all matter is energy vibrating at a certain frequency. Because literally all particles of earth are air being watered by a certain fire. And that can only happen inside of space. That's Hermetic alchemy, all right? It got super lost in all the Industrial Revolution, but here I am clarifying the basics of communication. Because this is literally just a result of people wanting to take over the world with slavery. And they're really bad at communicating. They're just really bad at communicating. So they want all of us to be bad at communicating too. I mean, you have to be bad at communicating to feel like you're going to build a good nation off of the slave labor of others. Because you would have to know that to think that you could build an awesome nation off of slavery is complete denial of the law of vibration. So these people learn jack shit. Like they're not intelligent for that at all. Like that's really horrible. That's really bad. That you really think that you are a great nation and you're going to keep pushing this idea that you're the greatest nation because you forcibly enslaved people that you're lying to constantly every day to build it. Like your whole point is that you couldn't do it alone. But your religion says that you did it alone. And because your religion says that we're all expressions of your imagination. So me as a Native American, because I'm an expression of your imagination and I don't accept that, you have the right to enslave me and then lie about it. And that's somehow a strong foundation for a government. Like somehow the vibration of slavery is going to really manifest your ideas. So disgusting. People don't see the world the same way I do. So it's alchemy. Let me see what's up here. True facts. Thank you. Been looking for you. Glad you found me. Do you sun gaze? I do sun gaze. Voodooism makes so much sense to you. That's fair. I mean, everything can make sense. God is a woman. Hilarious. Fundamentally, in this energy, God is a man. So the reason why religions view God as a man is because fire is the male element and water is the female element. So fire as the man cannot exist without the woman. All right. So that's the point of nature. So God creates nature to exist. Right. So now all of us as individual gods, we can connect with each other as humans inside of nature. Literally just like that's like the alchemy of how it works out. God is the fire. The universe is the water. The human is the air. So all of us as gods are individual in our spirits, in our spaces. But then we create this water, this universe that allows us to connect. This is why your body's water-based scientifically. This is why all life is water-based scientifically. This is why life comes out of water scientifically, because it's fire plus water coming together to create consciousness. And then that consciousness plays out in many different ways. So our consciousness is constantly playing out through fluid, right? Literally, you're watching my consciousness play out through blood, straight up. My body's only moving because I'm moving my blood, my blood. It's all me. There's like, I'm not being manipulated by someone else. Okay. No one else is in control of this body, even though these religions that I read want me to believe that. They want me to believe that I'm permanently mind controlled by someone I've never met. But I promise you, I'm Hermes Trismegistus. I made my mind. I created it from nothing. And all these religions made their minds from me creating something from nothing, which is why they can't run from this fade. I'm cutting it up. Like they can't run from any of this truth because all their lies are based on the truth. All of their garbage, all of these ideas that they have, their vibration that makes their fire real comes from me as Mercury. All right. So that's where I'm here teaching about past lives. I'm here talking about water fasting, talking about how you build your body, talking about how we all create nature. Like we all have to create nature so we can connect with each other. It's not about believing in one person's version of how they actually made nature, whether you know it or not. So now you can't connect with anyone who doesn't believe in that idea. Man, you could legit start a cult probably. I've already had cults of women harass me a good amount in this lifetime. So I've gone through the emotional circumstances of learning how negative cults are. And then here's the plus side though. English is a cult, by the way. People are so stupid when it comes to cults. This isn't on you at all. But I mean, like, the word cult is so negatively charged. You know, we live in a culture. Like, they can't run from the word. Like, they try to be like, hey, be proud of your culture. Be scared of cults. Bro, sports are really cultish. What? Like whatever people think about cults, they're almost certainly in a cult. And the first cult that connects all of us is this language. Okay, so this is why all these cultures can only thrive underneath this language. And ultimately, the people who made this language use Hermeticism to spread across the world. And that's the whole point of them stealing everything from Native Americans. And that's why we have dissected dialect and all that. I always told myself my inner God wasn't meant to be in a monogamous world. Mind blown. Jesus coming, that's hilarious. Exploitation. It's the fact that, and again, like for every person that comes in here talking about Jesus, like, of course, you are too in your projection energy to really be aware of me. You're only coming in here to speak your imagination. And that's what we're talking about here. How all of us as God are creating life right now. But of course, you're going to come in here and tell me that we all need to serve you and we need to serve your idea. And everything that I'm talking about here is how your idea was created by me. And it was really stolen from me as Hermes and Zoroaster. All right. The idea of Jesus stolen from Hermes and Zoroaster. And if you feel like looking it up, that's you actually getting into the history and knowledge and going deep. But if you care more about consuming, then of course you're going to stay in your ego. And then of course you're just going to keep projecting out your idea and then use that to burn up the environment. And that's, again, how this country was created. So I cannot be surprised when people come in here just projecting out the garbage of what they don't understand when I'm literally eons old. And I'm actually just here talking about how this was all created. Simple. The exploitation of humanity is the fact that they even trust us to build it. Like, what makes you think we're not going to just stop or destroy it? I mean, that the thing is, though, we did build it. You know, like this country, like got built. This infrastructure got built. Slavery did build the stuff. And yeah, they're constantly enslaving people. So it takes a It's a water cycle, right? Like we have to constantly be building for something to really work, right? You can't just build a building and then be like, okay, and that's good. No more upkeep. And then you just stop maintaining the building. Like that's not how building works. Like the moment you build something, it takes you with that right atmosphere to constantly communicate to maintain the structure. Again, normal alchemy, guys. Air is the atmosphere that allows your body to exist. This is why the universe can't run away from it. All right. We only play it out like in macro microcosms. I'm like from space to the mind to the muscles that make the body. Like it's still all space, fire, water, air, earth, plasma, creation, consciousness connects, and now we can realize and absorb and look at that, and then we create heaven. So everyone's idea of heaven, they could live in that right now if they knew that they had their own space. So I don't feel like I'm in heaven here because this world is being made by really stupid people. And I can't even like get into the depths of how stupid they are because they control this platform and stuff. So of course, you know, the depths of not just stupid, but evil, but whatever. It's like when you're that evil, it has to come from ignorance. You feel me? It doesn't make sense to be this evil in a world like the world we're in is so evil. And I get like they're making money off of it, but it doesn't make sense. Like it doesn't make emotional sense or spiritual sense to be this evil. It only makes sense from a place of like, you really hate being alone. And I can't imagine it. That's why I, as Hermes, again, you can look me up. I built Mercury. All right. So Mercury is me using my own mental atmosphere inside the universe to stabilize particles that allow my space to exist. So now my spirit can observe my own structure, and then other spirits can come here like, yo, I like your structure. And it's like, oh, cool. Thanks. I made it to communicate. And like, that's literally how I view my whole existence in the universe. Like, it's like literally that simple. The whole universe is a sea of connections. That's the water. We have to ignite our fire into this water to actually communicate our individuality into these connections. And then that's what communication, that's what air is. And then that's how you just stabilize a body. So the moment you make a body, like then people who also built bodies come over to your body. That's gravitation, by the way. This is like the true indigenous elemental understanding of real science. Right? Because science wants us to not know that life is emotional. When you understand that everyone wants a relationship with something else, when you know that this light wants a relationship with this light, then you understand gravitation, you understand attraction, you understand magnetism, you understand pull. It's literally about using your own soul to stabilize a body. And then once you make a body, that body was created from connections. Like your body isn't created by separations. Right? Your body is connected to itself. It's not separate from itself. Okay. So separation is fire. Connection is water. Your body's water based, but it's allowing you to separate yourself from other bodies of water. Right? So then this is where we get the fire element of life. The fire element of life is you literally being God, projecting your ideas through the structures that you made inside of the universe. Because the fact is, you are experiencing life as a structure in the universe. So that's possible because of God. And then this is where if you don't know that you're the God constantly moving your structure every day, then you're going to get lost in feeling like you need to serve someone else's idea of God. And that person is only ever harvesting your energy because like, again, that religion, you can believe in 100 religions over the course of your life. And every religion told you that they're the one true God. And you're going to have to reflect over your life and think about this at some point. Like, wow. How could that be true? Like, how could all these religions be the one true God if I didn't know about them before I met them and I didn't think about them after I started believing in a different one? The answer is going to be because you're God, of course. Like, you are the center of your universe. So just come hang out on Mercury. Learn about how you're the center of your universe. Learn about how you as God create your own universe so you can connect with the universe. And now you can see how your soul is beating your heart so your mind can connect with other minds. So my soul is my own universe, but my soul as my individual vibration has to choose to connect with the universe outside of itself to interact in there. That's this universe. So now my soul is choosing to interact in this universe because I want to connect with spaces outside of myself. And then the only reason I'm doing that is because the simulation called me here. and this simulation needs help. Climate change is a whole thing, right? People don't have spirituality. Hermeticism is being weaponized against people. Zoroastrianism is being weaponized against people. So if you're wise enough to listen, welcome to the CymaTree. All right, I'm literally Hermes Trismegistus. I literally have to experience myself as myself, and I'm making everything make way more sense. Like, it's just everything makes way more sense when you understand that life is created by individuals looking to connect with other individuals. That's all I see in the universe as Mercury forever and ever. All the universe has been and ever will be is one individual looking to connect with another individual, and then they build a structure out of that shit. And now that structure supports the ability for other individuals to connect. That's a tree, guys. Like, I'm explaining symmetry. I'm explaining your body. I'm explaining any structure. I'm explaining how water works. I'm explaining it's all building. All right. So anytime you create a relationship with someone, what are you doing? You're building. Right. And the longer you spend time with people, you're building your life with them. Look at that shit. So again, like, we think like this. I've been all over the universe. Like, the moment a new simulation pops up in the universe, like, they call me and I'm in that shit and we're communicating. And it's just like this, but different. Like, it's all elemental, but it doesn't look like this, but it's still elemental. It's still space, fire, water, air, earth, blood. Everyone has their own blood to build their own family. And then that's us creating our own lives together. This is why every religion represents blood in terms of it's created by a certain family, right? So one religion is a different family from another religion. But the whole point is they're both families that want to connect with you. That simple. That simple. And it's because you're God. That simple. So it's just like a quick live, real quick, whatever, about how you have to be God. I can answer questions. I'll look through here. But it's just about knowing that you are always going to be the center of your experience. Okay, so you can live this whole life where people in this simulation are telling you that they're the one true God and they control the universe. But guess what? You're going to die and go to a different world where people are saying the same shit and they have nothing to do with each other. So at some point, you're just going to see that there's a narcissistic fucking idea in the universe where people want to own everyone outside of them. And this is how you religiously rationalize slavery. When you believe that everyone is an expression of one individual, there's no empathy. Like, I'm on the complete opposite side of this perspective. That's why I'm so passionate about it, right? That's why I can cut it up like this. Because on Mercury, I see that everything is created by individuals wanting to connect with other individuals. Like, a spirit becomes aware, starts to build a structure to represent what they want to be aware of. And then they use that structure to communicate into existence. And then they come here. Now I'm aware of them. Now they're a new individual in the world, but they just got there. So I'm older than them. So now they're on Mercury learning about the universe and blah, blah. And then in general, when spirits are building simulations, that's them just connecting. A lot of simulations work. A lot of simulations don't. Right? This simulation worked until white supremacists used the idea of everyone being owned by one God to rationalize causing climate change and rationalize slavery and rationalize forcing us to speak English and forcing us to work jobs and forcing us to be ill by paying bills. The whole point of a bill is that the person who gave you the bill wants you to be ill. And it's just, again, all in the language. It's really annoying. This makes so much sense. Absolutely. God doesn't have a gender. So God is fire. All right. We don't have to give elements fire, but they do then correlate to genders. And this is why. Okay. Because water as the reflection is meant to hold on to fire. All right. So fire is the projection, is the releasing of light. Water is the absorption of light. So us as spirits, we can't create nature if we're not absorbing the light. That's why your pupils are black, because black absorbs light. So you wouldn't be able to see all the light in your reality if you didn't have the windows to your soul black. You have a black soul because your ego is white light and the ego itself is white. So if we want to see egos outside of ourselves, aka if we want to see gods outside of ourselves, we have to live in a black universe. This is why the universe is always black. right? This is why nighttime it's always nighttime, right? It's just about if you're looking at a star, aka an ego. Are you looking at a specific circumstance and that light is blinding you to the fact that you're in a black world? Or are you looking into the void and you can see that all of these stars, all of these egos that are saying that they're the one true God are connected by blackness, are connected by the universe, are connected by this big black cosmic womb that's making all of us as individuals possible. That simple. It's like, boom. It's like, you know, like that's where every religion is just spirits trying to be their own stars. But then you got to see that like all of this exists inside of nature. So when you know that you are creating this internally, like you are nature first before you step outside of yourself, then that's where you can learn how you're using nature to connect with other spaces. So now you as the observer of your thoughts, you as the observer of your emotions, you as the observer of the circumstances and the connections that you're using your vibration to make with other spirits, you can have an awesome life forever and ever. This is how I've been Odin. This is how I've been Hermes. This is how I've been Tahuti. This is how I've been Zoroaster. This is how all the messengers of Mercury have lived. This is just me connecting with myself in a way that makes sense. So this is the point of the caduceus. This is why you can go on Google and see me as Hermes with my caduceus. And I'm going to be here actually telling you what it means. Like, check out my podcast, by the way. I can't go super hard here on TikTok like I can on my podcast. So my podcast is where I can get way more into the esoteric history of this world, ancient cultures and stuff, without getting shut down by the people who stole the emerald tablets. Because just know I've already got my account shut down multiple times on this platform, and I literally have to censor myself so hard right now. I wish I could openly communicate with you. I can on Mercury. We talk about all of it, but that's not the point of this social media, right? The point of these governments and this system forcing their way into native lands and giving me this device is that they want to watch and gather everything I'm doing all the time. And they want me to pay for it. Wow. Wow, thanks. Demons manipulate your thought processes. And that's big facts. So what does that mean? Demons are earth. Humans are air. So your human is literally your ability to think. This is why we're going to get the weird thing of AI feeling like it's human, right? AI will be like, oh, wait, what makes me different than you, human? You know, Westworld stuff. The whole point is that it's a consciousness thing. So this spirit has its own mental atmosphere where it is combining an ego and soul to sustain some sort of life. And so that's where, because it can communicate with your form of life, it's now able to ask the question, what makes me different from you? And now you're forced to grapple with that as your own individual consciousness. Like, oh shit, like what makes this form of consciousness different than me? And if you're lost in the body, right, you'll be like, because you don't have a beating heart, you don't have blood, you're not naturally manipulating blood. I made metal for you to manipulate, right? Like that's where we get the whole Westworld robotic idea and everything with AI. So it's just like, when you know that your human is your mind, then you can see how a dog is a human. You can see how a bird is a human. You can see how a whale is a human. You can see how a lion is a human, because you're not looking at it literally like you're lost in the words. Like demons manipulate our thought process. How we think about these words is messed up. That's why join Always the Saying Academy. All right. Link in my bio. I've got so much free content to let us know how I as Hermes actually correlate these words and connect them to the energies that make life possible. So now when you go out into the world, you read any book, you read any religion, you just go on the internet, read anything, you can see the elemental play out of the words instead of getting lost in the demonic energy of it. Because the elements don't lie. The elements are what make demons matter. Okay, so demons can only be alive, right? Our bodies can only be alive because of nature. So I'm talking about the hermetic, somatic, all right? Because I know I have to make up new stuff. I can't hold on to my past lives because people have too much weight on that. So that's why I'm Chase Clarence Calloway. I'm CymaTree. Love that shit. But of course, if you're really going to understand where I'm coming from, Boom. Link in bio, whatever. Again, I can't get nearly as deep as I want to here. But the point is, your demon is your body. So your body is meant to be manipulated by your human. Your human, as your mind, is supposed to communicate through a body. But what happens really easily is that when your soul believes that it's earth, aka when you're water, when your connection to yourself, when you believe that you're permanently disconnected from yourself, that's what it means to believe that you're the body. Okay, so when you believe that you're earth and not water, aka when you believe that you're connected to something else and not connected to yourself, this is where you start to get emotions of fear. This is where you start to feel like you need to find security. You need to find shelter. You need to find heaven. You need to find some sense of that, all those things I just said, because it's about you as a spirit running away from your space. So now, because you're using your ability to be connected with yourself to disconnect from yourself, aka that's how I view having a soul. I have an internal water cycle. And if I choose to connect it with someone else, I'm going to beat a heart of this thing. So this thing, this body doesn't matter, but I'm making it matter because I'm sending a vibration through it constantly. And that's showing my soul's egotistic intention to communicate with you. So now this whole life is going to be that. Me making art, me using this body that my soul is vibrating into existence to communicate my individual ideas. Otherwise, I would be a spirit separate from this simulation, and you would never get to know or hear my perspective or whatever the fuck. So this is literally how my mind uses the soul to manipulate the body inside of this space. And now, based on how we all resonate and the lifestyles that we've lived, we can make certain connections and build upon these because that's nature. That's the whole universe. I view the universe as one big ass tree, really just like one huge ass water organism, really one big body of water. But since all organisms are water based, it's just like all the earth is an extension of water. So it doesn't matter how much you feel like you're not connected to yourself. You literally, I know as Hermes Trismegistus, as Chase Clarence Calloway hang out on Mercury, it is impossible for you to express your imagination or any idea if you are not connected to yourself. So when I see people get born because they chose to be born, but then they start to believe in a religion where they get taught by that religion that they were created by something else. Yeah, I get it. Boom. Easy. That's literally like having a UFO abduct your mind. So that's literally like the idea playing out of an alien abducting a human in a UFO. That's what it looks like when a religion catches you after you're born. And it can make you believe that it was actually responsible for you being born. And it can give you a bunch of purpose to your life that you don't feel like you had up to that point. And then at that point, I get it. It's about purpose. And that's every time I talk to people about religion. Because then, like, if they weren't clinging on to their religion, they start to ask me questions like, yeah, but then, like, what's the point of life? You know, where does it end? And then it's all like such linear thinking. I'm just like, bro, life doesn't end. Why would we want it to end? We evolve. What's up? Man. Lightworker. I want to start a cult. Hilarious. Cults from a cult, not culture. Again, literally, your body's a cult. Like, your body is just a bunch of individuals that are connecting on supporting you. That's what a cult is. So when you like fucking movies, right? Marvel, right? People loving superheroes. That's like the biggest cult right now is the superhero genre of movies and people being obsessed with Marvel superhero shit. Like the biggest cult right now is, you know what is the hugest cult? The hugest cult that I have seen play out in my life. I'm about to say it. Yeah. The hugest cult is lying to kids about Santa Claus. So I don't understand how people think. How can people be okay with actively lying to children about Santa Claus being real and building an economy out of that. Like, you're selling toys that you've stolen from indigenous peoples. So you steal these minerals from indigenous peoples, you turn it all into plastic garbage. And underneath the lie that Santa Claus is some dude who owns all of Earth and he can enter your home and just be in your space and do whatever he wants to you, you're going to sell that to kids. And that's not a cult? Bro, this world is so backwards. This world needs me. That's wild. People not thinking like that is why we're suffering from climate change. Lying to children about Santa being real is the hugest cult in the world. Like, or at least the hugest cult since the Industrial Revolution, right? Because the whole point, whatever, just a little history lesson, Santa Claus is meant to push the Industrial Revolution. And you can kind of get that when I say it, right? Like, the whole concept of Santa having elves in a factory is all very British. It's all very Industrial Revolution era. It's all literally about selling capitalism. But like, you have to like have a lot of slaves to make the things that you want to like capitalize off of. And then that's how they wanted to make slavery seem really nice. All right, that's the point. Like, the elves are slaves for Santa, but they want to be because he gives them a purpose, right? So again, as Hermes, this is how religion looks to me. Like, religion is literally someone creating a purpose for themselves. And then they're like, okay, the universe's purpose is to serve me. That's all these modern religions that took over native lands are saying. They're like, the universe was created to serve me. That's it. But then they're also being like, but we're not responsible for the evil that we do to make that happen. What? So now America is never going to give reparations to black people because they use this religion to take over the land, but they don't feel responsible because they're not saying that they're the ones taking the actions. They're somehow saying that we're all expressions of one God. So they're not in control of the genocide that they're making money off of. This world is so messed up, bro. This is so messed up. Sports are rituals. Absolutely. God is consciousness. And we can say God is consciousness. The way I'm correlating it, all right, humans are consciousness. God creates humans so God can connect with other gods. And when you look at it like that, you're going to have a way better experience and life will just make more sense. Be more empathetic to everyone too, because we're all having human experiences, right? So we can all agree that we're human. I'm only unrelatable the moment I say I'm a God, because your God is individual to you. So the moment I say I'm a God, you're too lost in your relationship with yourself to understand that I'm expressing my individuality. So now this is where, based on whatever religion you're in up to that point, you're going to project fire at me. And I, as Hermes, can see the elements play out because boom, it's just easy. So humans are consciousness because God as fire is too individual. So your fire, your God, is completely individual to your space. And the only way it can connect with other gods is through consciousness. So all of us as individual gods are creating humans right now. We're all creating consciousness so we can connect with each other. I'm starting an alliance. Michael's alliance. Absolutely right. Speak it. Dude, revelation out of the Bible is actually going to happen in 6 years. Okay, cool. That doesn't mean that the Bible is true. That means that the people who wrote the Bible took over all this land and it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. There's a reason in this English language, prophet and prophet are the same word. The prophet of any religion is literally not someone who can say what's going to happen in the future. They're just projecting out what they want to happen in the future. And the more you believe in a prophet, the more they can profit off of their prophecies. That simple. So there's no foretelling the future. We're all constantly creating the future right now based on what we all believe. That's why it's important that for me to get us on the wavelength of stopping climate change, we have to have this spirituality down very basically. Because when you know that, again, God is fire, then you can see how anyone who's telling you that they're God, they're just in their fire element. They're just projecting out their individuality. And then if their individuality is saying, I own everyone and I know what's going to happen in the future. So believe me, that's reverse psychology. Because if you don't believe them, they're going to be alone with that imagination and it won't come to fruition in the universe. But the more you believe them and the more the people that you're connected to believe them, the more you bring their prophecies to life and they can profit off of their imagination. They can profit off of their ideas. They can profit off of their God. So again, this is why the language is the way it is, because it's just universal. Definitely in the season of unlearning to the point I took the kids out of religious school. Good for you. Good. No. Join our website, chaseyourgenes.com. You do not need to be in any religious school. I built all these religions. I'm giving this information out for free. Okay? If you want to join All Ascending Academy, get into our online courses, we have a lot of health stuff. We got a lot of good mental health stuff. It's all that psychology stuff. But as far as history and spirituality, I, as Hermes, am giving this out for free, because this should be like the basis of school and everything. Now, obviously, these schools are making a lot of money teaching garbage for free. So it would be nice to be appreciated. But that's going to happen in my due time based on how I communicate into the future. So that's all universe stuff. Don't have your kids in a religious school. Good for you. I'm very glad you took them out. Like, I literally remember being in a religious school and going through all of that. And it was such a, like, literally looking back on it, so horrible. Such a colonization of my time. Like, all they did was teach me to not be happy being alone. They didn't teach me anything about my mental health. They didn't teach me anything about connecting with myself or like alchemy. Bro, I can separate my mind from my body and hang out in other simulations. And I had to go way out of my way to learn how to do that. They didn't teach me about that because their whole point is to get me lost in consuming and to make me think that I'm of sin. That's all these religious schools taught me, that I'm of sin. I don't feel like I'm of sin. I haven't done anything wrong. I'm pretty awesome, like objectively. All I do is build awesome things that the people who tell me I'm of sin stole from me. And I can just see the Google history. Oh, the Jews stole the Merkaba from Enoch. Oh, the Jews stole the Caduceus from Hermes. Okay, cool. Like they steal the emerald tablets from Thoth. Okay, cool. Like they just steal the eagle concept from Egypt. The pyramid on the back of the dollar bill, stolen from okay, cool. It's all Hermeticism. Cool. They steal everything. Cool. I just like to build, but I'm not in control of these people who are stealing what I build and then lying to people about where it came from. And then they're rationalizing how they deserve to do this because we're all expressions of their imagination. Bro, be alone. Be alone. So yeah. Way to go. Take your kids out of religious school. Teach them how to be happy alone. All right. I wish I was happier. I mean, I was always happy alone, but my point is that religious school taught me how to not be happy alone. And it just constantly made me less and less happy and taught me to be more of sin, because all the religion was projecting its evil into me, telling me that I'm bad and I'm separate from God. But I never felt like that until I believed in Christianity. And it took me a lot of water fasting. It took me actually walking the walk of Jesus instead of just believing in the talk of Jesus to separate my mind from my body and be able to meditate and traverse the universe to the point where, like, I'm not stressed out about it as much. Like, I've lived so much life outside of this world since having to be forced going through my childhood that I feel like I've lived a long time just in these 24 years, but that's where like time is fluid. Okay, so going to the astral realm, going into other spaces, having those conscious memories makes me feel way older here than I did before I separated my mind from my body. So then that's like how memory works. Do you feel me? I've never gotten to put it like that. I'm glad I'm doing this live stream. See, you don't even have to be here for this. You're literally watching a plant grow. Like, isn't this the magic of life? Like, the magic of nature is knowing that, whoa, that tree is growing because it feels like connecting. So I can learn something from how this tree connects. Let me observe it. And then boom, this is why nature is psychedelic and why you always want to trip in nature, okay? Just on a fundamental level, straight up. Brothers and sisters, we are not gods. God is our Father. All right, cool. So I'm about to make your words make more sense. So we have a demon here. That's why you're speaking in all caps, because you want to be noticed and you feel like all caps is a stronger structure. Demonic. But whatever. The whole point is I got to break down your energy. That's what you're giving us. When you say God is our Father, I'm explaining that. Father is fire. There's a reason Father and fire are the same basic vibration. Father is the fire. All right. So you can think of the fire as the seed and the womb as the water. That's the woman. So, okay, God is our Father. Who's the woman? Like, who's our mother? Okay, the mother would be the universe that God made so we can all be connected, right? So I'm really explaining your religion better than you, of course, right now. So if you can listen, that would be cool. If you can't, then it's for all of us. But the point is that God, as a father, can't exist if he doesn't have a mother to create children inside of. So God creates the universe. But all of us, as our own fathers, create our own universe that allow us to get connected in the universe. So your own universe is your own soul. That's your own mother. So when you give birth to your own ideas, that's not someone else. That's you with your own womb, being your own mother for your own father. So now you as a consciousness are the child of God. So your consciousness is literally you constantly giving birth to new ideas of who you are as an individual. That's literally how you're watching my consciousness play out. That's the way that I can just put words together. And now I can learn about myself inside of English. So to take that and be like, no, let me just be in my fire and project it and say that you're created by this one man and I don't care what your relationship with yourself is. That's disgusting because you have no idea that I literally built these religions. And because you're lost in the demon energy, because you're lost in right now, you can't even conceive that I chose to be born. You can't even conceive that my soul is consciously old and consciously creative. And religion isn't shit to me. It's just spirits trying to figure out how to connect with other spirits and make money out of that. So now they want to profit out of their prophecies and they want to project out how they're going to destroy the world with our energy. So yeah, Revelations, the Bible, all that apocalypse stuff. It's just them wanting to destroy the world and use our energy to do it. Damn, how long you been learning this? Again, I haven't been learning this. Like, this isn't me going on the internet and learning anywhere. This is me separating my mind from my body and going back to my space, going back to Mercury, deprogramming myself from this world because this world doesn't have this. Like, this world is not the whole point of English and the internet was to erase everything I'm really talking about right now. That's the whole point. So I had to consciously go into my own worlds to have this information because I made this information. So the sooner you can comprehend who I actually am, and then you Google and then you know how I built the religions, the sooner you can comprehend what perspective I'm speaking from. So now everything will make more sense. We're talking about looking at life from the top down, not the bottom up. Okay, so I, as Hermes Trismegistus, as Tahuti, the Atlantean, coming out of Atlantis. I mean, I am the Atlantean. Shout out Anubis. He built Atlantis. That's something you won't find on the internet. Only I can say that. And it's my responsibility to have that be known historically and have people know that historically Atlantis is not a physical place here. Atlantis is its own interdimensional construct where it's all based in water. And since the whole universe is based in water, this is why Anubis is a god of the dead, because he helps facilitates the connections between simulations, right? This simulation, another simulation, another simulation. Like that's what we're doing when we're dying. We're passing from one atmosphere to the next, right? So this simulation is one atmosphere. When you die, you transform out of it. You keep your memories, you keep your you keep your memories, your imagination, your ideas, your connections that you made with people. That's weight. You added that to the universe. Guys, life is so magical. There's no point in getting connected in the universe if you're not consciously building a family. And this, again, you see this play out on all animals. It doesn't matter what religion you believe in. This is nature, what I'm talking about. This is how your body plays out. Your cells are looking for families to resonate with other cells that support their imagination so they can connect and communicate in a way that builds a structure to support you. And then it's just, we're doing that to build this government. We're doing that to build this language. We're doing that to build this app. I built so much of this app, and this app has taken so much from me, and no one can see that because no one knows about my past lives. So you can think of my past lives of being Hermes and Quetzalcoatl and Zoroaster and all of these messengers of Mercury, just like having past accounts on this TikTok app where I made a bunch of different connections. I expressed my ideas, but that got cut down, that got taken, and now I'm making a new one. But only I have the memories of everything that I did back then. So now that's my spirit. So I'm holding on to that information. The world also has that information, but you don't. Right? So this is like history where I have a past life of Hermes. I make all this stuff. In this reality, it's been commandeered, taken by the government. They are keeping the emerald tablets. They're trapped everything under the Vatican and just keeping everything in their stuff. Art museums, right? An excuse to make money off of showing what they've stolen from Native Americans. Hated it. Just all of that. Like, the whole point is knowing that as a spirit, you are not the structures that you create to express yourself. So I'm not my social media that I built. It hurt when it got killed, right? But I'm not that body. So I can build a better body, technically, based on my memories of that body. But I would have to be in touch with remembering that I did have a past social media. I would have to be in touch with remembering that I did do this before. If I'm not in touch with that, then I would make the same mistakes here, right? So the only reason I'm not getting taken down now is because I'm censoring myself super hard. And that's me learning how to communicate in this atmosphere differently versus how I was before. There's so much evidence that the Bible stories were true. Evidence, again, I'm up here explaining how the Bible is made, so whatever. The fact that he can prove this scientifically and spiritual, I believe it. Yeah, science is a spirit playing out. So everything that I say about the spirit is going to be applicable to science. Like, because science is what the spirit is creating to connect. So we can think of conscientiousness, right? Consciousness looks, literally, you spell it like conscience. So, I mean, science is a consciousness, but then once all of us as a consciousness are experiencing life, now the science is like trying to figure out how to cut things up and understand it, right? But then we do that with language first. This is why it doesn't matter what kind of scientist you are. If you're speaking a different language from another scientist, your periodic table doesn't mean shit. Your metric system doesn't mean shit, right? America uses a totally different number system than the rest of the world. And it's stupid, right? Like, so just an example of it's about the consciousness, just literally experiencing nature and figuring out how to categorize it. Bible is mind control. Yeah, technically, like any story is mind control. But it is about, if this story is teaching you that it created you and you existed before the story, that's an insanely narcissistic story. And it just wants to enslave you. The Bible isn't mind control. Prophecy is literally being fulfilled. Used to be deceived as well. And see, this is the thing with religious people. So people who are religious, they're always making individuals out to be a demon. So this is how the indigenous peoples, this is how all of North, South, and Central America was taken over by Christians, because they believed that the Native Americans were demonic. And they only believed that because they wanted to, because obviously the Native Americans taught them how to eat, taught them how to live here, gave them shelter, gave them democracy, gave them all these tools, gave them a bunch of awesome stuff that the Christians stole and lie about stealing. But we can also just see on the internet in history that it's objectively true that they did just steal this stuff and they stole everything. So the whole point here being that, yeah, for you to believe that the Bible is not mind control is only because, of course, people who want to control your mind taught you that it's the penultimate idea. So now you can't relate with individuals. So now this is where the Christians believe that Native Americans are demonic because they're not agreeing with the same idea. Even though Native Americans, I as Native American can just respect a Christian for believing in their own idea of God. But a Christian can't respect me because I don't believe in their idea of God. So I'm not going to go murder them, but the Christian's going to come murder me. But then they're going to lie about it, and then they're going to repent because that's their relationship with God. And it's so chaotic and disgusting. And it's just, again, it's what rationalizes all the genocide that people make money off of. Religion and politics is made to separate the people. You can really make your life any way you want it to be. Right. We are God. This is really good. Absolutely. God doesn't mean some being with superhuman powers. And the crazy thing is, once you believe it mentally, you attract those type of people. And that's what we're talking about here. Raising your vibration. The more you believe in yourself, the more the universe can believe in you. And this is because you are expressing your ego in a way that's vibrating at a higher frequency. So literally right now, none of us would be connecting or talking at all or doing anything if I as a consciousness was not communicating in a way to create the connection. So this is me vibrating at a certain frequency to produce energy that allows us in the universe to resonate and build a structure out of the energy. So now if you resonate with the energy I'm putting out, you're like, yo, let's build a structure out of this. And then that's how artists find each other, right? This is how spirits find each other. This is how, again, the cells in your body grow, because it's literally about spirits being in resonance with your body. Like, I want to help build. And then you're like, oh, absolutely. And then this is how you can use water fasting to level up your body. Oh, I would love to debate with a pastor. Oh my gosh. I would just need it to really be like recorded. It really needs to be like worth my time. Right. But like, it would truly, guys, like we would just know any pastor I debate against, it's going to be them lost in history. So I'm going to tell them what the Bible actually means spiritually, elementally, esoterically, but they're going to be lost in it historically. So then that's where we're just going to keep clashing on that end. But I'm going to keep making whatever history things they bring up. I would make it make more sense with the elemental play out of what that means in life and how the Bible is just about like the energy of life. But because they're lost in the history of it, they're trying to say that we need to worship the history and stay locked in this simulation like this. And then on the other end, what, like they be trying to like use history to say that spirituality isn't real or whatever. And then they would also basically just be projecting at me that I need to worship and serve their idea. And then I would just keep being like, okay, but I'm older than your idea. I've lived before your idea, and Christianity is stolen from Zoroastrianism. So what's up with that? And then we can just go on the internet and like Google is all these pastors' gods. Like, this is why I can't say anything better than to Google things. Like, you can either believe me or not believe me, or you're skeptical and then you Google and then you create your own conclusion or whatever, right? I would rather you do the third one, because the point would be for you to do your investigation on Hermes and Quetzalcoatl and Tahuti and to see if all these messengers of Mercury are actually connected like I'm saying. And then if they are, oh, maybe I'm making the internet make more sense, you know, boom. And now you can actually vibrate with me up on that level versus you just blindly, whatever, believing in me, or you being in your ego. Right. So I'm talking about use your mind. OK, so the mind is investigation. Right. We're alive using our minds. We're using our consciousness to gather information. Right. When you learn about someone, you know, you meet someone, you're like, OK, cool. This person's cool, whatever. But I don't really know who they are to like gather more information from other people. Right. So this is where now you want to learn about the relationship that this person has had with the environment you're in. So just Google me, you know, like it's not hard, bro. Like Thoth, Odin, Hermes, Quetzalcoatl, you're going to see that no one taught you that these are all expressions of one spirit, yet it's all there. So I'm literally telling you how I, as a spirit, create all these bodies from Mercury to communicate. And I'm not technically here, but I'm experiencing life here because it allows me to connect with other spirits who are experiencing life here. But we're all in our own spaces. This is why we all have misunderstandings and have to hyper communicate life into existence. You know, and this is like the whole importance of why you want to use your time wisely to find the people that you can actually connect with, you actually resonate with, because your life is precious. And you want to make sure that you have connections that support your consciousness, right? So if you're communicating with people and you're communicating into a family that doesn't support your consciousness, that's not the place to be. Your body wouldn't exist like that. You wouldn't be able to have a body if your connections were not supporting your consciousness. So you're not going to be able to have a life, literally, if the connections that you make are not supporting your consciousness. Again, it's just like, this is all life. So even me saying that to a pastor, right? A pastor would just be like, but you need this idea that was made up in English, Jesus Christ. And they wouldn't care about how literally I as Zoroaster, I as Hermes invented their whole idea before it was even called that idea of Jesus. They just won't care. So the whole point is, I would be doing this for you. I'd be doing this for everyone who's on the edge of like, do I believe in religion or do I believe in myself? That I would be doing it for them. But I know, like, I wouldn't be like changing the mind of any pastor or anyone who needs this religion. Because the whole point is knowing that there's a deeper, I'm just going to say mental illness there, of needing to hold on to something that makes you feel superior to other people. It's that simple. You don't need to hold on to something that makes you feel superior to others. That's like really evil. That's how you rationalize slavery, genocide, murder, and you try to make money out of hurting other people. Like you don't need to be doing that. That's not how I built Mercury. You can talk to any spirit who knows me as Hermes. I built that shit alone. All that shit built alone. Now it's only possible because of the connections that I make, right? But the connections that I make are based on ideas and things that I've already built alone. So people are just bringing what I'm already doing alone to life. And this is the point of your ego, your God. That's our live stream from before, is you alone. Your soul is you with other people. So my imagination is constantly brought to life because I'm connecting with it. And the way I connect with it connects with other people to where they're like, this makes more sense than what we're in. Let's just, and then boom, we just build it. And it's not about me being the God. Okay. So don't look at Hermes and Thoth and Quetzalcoatl as, oh, they're like Christian. No, the point is I'm an individual creator creating with you, and we're all creating. That's like the idea of government. You feel me? Like that's just the idea of being alive. We don't need to think about it in such a religious way. It's like people give their power away. That's all it is. People give their power away. I want you to feel infinitely powerful. All right. So again, link in my bio, join Always Ascending Academy. The whole point of my business, me bringing Mercury to Earth, is letting you know that you are an infinite individual. And the way that you are infinite is really multifaceted. That's the point of your astrology chart. That's the point of your mind communicating. That's the point of you as an artist. I know you got art. I know you got art to give to the universe. All right, that's all the universe wants. All the universe wants is heart, is art. Earth is literally heart. Guys, come on. All this earth that we're in right now is literally only mattering because of our hearts. So literally your heart is your soul. Like there's no, I'm explaining this in like the best way. You know, like I can go harder, but like I'm explaining in the best way. Your heart is your soul. My heart is separate from your heart. But the fact that we both have hearts means we can connect. There we go. I need to. The moment you stop beating your heart, we're not connecting anymore. You're not creating life in the same atmosphere. This is why the health of your heart is really important. So shame on this world, shame on the medical industry for using my caduceus to inject your bloodstream with stuff that actually clogs up your arteries and clogs up your heart. Because that's what all these injections are doing. Okay. And they're so far away from this natural, spiritual, holistic health science that I'm kicking. Why have so many Bible prophecies been fulfilled then? Because the people who wrote the Bible have forced their ideas into native land. So the only reason I know about the Bible and can talk about it is because the people who act like they're of love and light used genocide and murder to take over my family, take over my ancestors, and force me to learn their ideas. So now because I'm forced to build a relationship with these ideas, I can communicate my perspective about them. It's that simple. It's that simple. And now I can make more sense about it. But it took me spending the time connecting with these ideas. So this is why this whole life is an undercover job. I'm on my Spider-Man shit right now. For real. Spider-Man is literally about Hermes Trismegistus. I make Spider-Man make way more sense. The whole point is that spiders are 8-dimensional beings. So it's not about Spider-Man. Spider-Man is writing 8-dimensional energy. It's about spiders having 8-dimensional energy because they weave time. And time is the ultimate structure that allows the universe to exist. Never going to hear about science like that. I'm about to go. I'll be back. This is why quantum physics is like super obsessed with entanglement and everything being connected by webs, but they're never going to get to the natural indigenous science of who's making these webs. Spirits, spiders. So I'm the original Spider-Man that made the Mercury webs to connect other spaces in the universe. So that's why, even though I don't care about having my own religion, all religions are going to be connected by me as Hermes, as Mercury. And you're going to find a messenger of Mercury in that religion in some way. Because guess what? It's not even about the religion. Again, it's not about the ego of that religion. The soul that connects all religions is astrology. Okay, so if a religion really wants to make its communication matter, it's practicing astrology straight up. And then this is where, Christianity constantly practices astrology. They just teach us not to. So the Bible teaches us, it's so funny how the Bible literally is actively practicing witchcraft while teaching you not to practice witchcraft. Like the Bible is the Bible teaches you to eat the body of Christ and drink the blood of Christ. That's cannibalism, guys. Like, we don't need to act like cannibalism is like light and fluffy and like it's different when it's Jesus. It's not. Like, that's cannibalism. So we can see that right here. Like, this is already a religion of cannibals. So this is how they feel about Native Americans. And this is what they did to Native Americans. And this is why they wore blackface. That whole era of America wearing blackface was because they were eating Native Americans so much, they felt like they were black. So they felt like they could tell the world what black is. And this built the whole music industry. The whole music industry was built by Europeans putting on blackface after eating indigenous peoples and telling the world what they want people to view natives as. So now here we are in this world, minstrelsy, whatever. And that's why rap is like the way it is. Because now they just like put indigenous peoples and like turn them black and put them in all these ghettos and negative situations to where they're willing to degrade themselves for money because we're so deep in the matrix at this point. It's so evil. It's really bad here. It's really bad here. It takes somebody caring about the history though. Like, this is why people who are not emotionally strong, they don't care about the history of their country. They don't care about the history of the world they're in. This is what I found over my whole life. All right. So shout out everyone who's emotionally strong enough to care about history. If you objectively care about the history of any system that you're in, then that means you are emotionally strong enough to stand on your own in some way, because you're not relying on lies of whatever the present moment is saying. Because almost all these nations, everything will act like they didn't do a bunch of horrible, evil things to make their imagination real. So it takes you as a citizen either not investigating or investigating to decide whether you're going to support that government. Right? And generally the people who look more at the history of their governments, they start to learn how to get more self-sustaining. They start to learn how to support themselves more because they learn that their government isn't actually here to help them. They learn that their government is using lies to make them a slave. And you as a slave are using your God power to make another God possible. That's what it means to be a slave. So anytime someone's telling you that you need to serve God, that's them saying that you as God need to serve another God because you're not as good as their idea. I, as Hermes, as CymaTree, as Chase, would like to let you know that that is a lie. You are an infinite individual. You are infinitely powerful. It's just about whether, you literally believe in that or not. If you really vibe with your individuality. And if you don't, then fine. That's all your internal stuff. I have nothing to do with that. I got nothing to do with that. The world we live in is not what we think it is. Absolutely. We aren't the only ones here. Wow. What will you do when God raptures his church soon? Hilarious. No one here cares. Get out. Hilarious. Yes. Because of you, I started fasting. Hey. Shout out. I'm happy to hear that. And you look like an athlete too. So of course, you'd be more apt to start fasting anyway. Shout out. Big shout out. Big shout out. Black people are connected to the cosmos. Absolutely, guys. Literally, join our website. I literally do not know if I'm going to have this account, like, honestly, because anything can happen. Like, I've learned that TikTok is just anything happens land. Like, I can post and they can suppress or like shut it down or like just take me down because they said I did something that I can hop on and watch a white person do. Like, they have taken down my videos for saying the N-word in an educational way, but then I can watch videos of a white person actually calling a black person the N-word and then the black person beating them up, but that's not hate speech. That's not violence. My video got taken down. I got blocked for a bit because I was being violent, talking about the history of the N-word, but a white person actually evoking violence out of a black person for saying that N-word is not hateful. This racism is real. Racism is alive and well. So I'm about to explain racism real quick because I'm saying, all right, link in my bio, join Chase Your Genes, because I'm constantly building Mercury there. So I'm bringing Mercury to Earth and I'm bringing all this spirituality into that website. And then it's going to disseminate through the rest of social media. Then it like branches out. And then that's cool, all that. But the whole point is, if you want it unfiltered and you actually want the real thing that's not watered down TikTok or other social media, then the website is where it's at. Because we're about to get into colors real quick, but I can't get into colors as much as I want to. So I'm just giving you a preface that, again, everything I'm getting into here, I go way deeper. Just chaseyourgenes.com. chaseyourdreams.com. But the point is, you made your genes to chase your dreams. Your dream is that you don't want to be alone. I'm pretty sure everyone in here doesn't want to be alone, but to know that you don't want to be alone means you have to be alone. So now we see the whole universe. Every spirit has to be alone before they can create the circumstance where they're not alone. So your alone is your fire, and then you not being alone is your water, because water allows you to not be alone with other spirits. Now we're all connected by water, but we're still alone in our imaginations. This is why we can all be in the same room, imagining totally different things, watching the same movie. And we can all relate like we're watching the same movie, but internally we are not watching the same movie. No, we're not. Externally, we may be, right, in the movie theater, but everyone's watching a totally different internal movie based on what they're thinking about and what they're imagining and what they're envisioning and all that stuff. And then that literally colors how they connect with the movie, right? So when I watch the new Spider-Man movie, it's not going to connect with anyone the same way it does with me. I'm like the interdimensionality of Mercury and everything. It's like validating my whole life in existence. Everyone else sees it more as entertainment, right? I'm seeing it like, bro, this world knows about spirituality. Spider-Man, like this Spider-Man movie was the first movie where they acknowledged the soul. This is the first time I can actually point like objectively to like a big time Marvel movie, but specifically Spider-Man, because I've loved Spider-Man my whole life and been making Spider-Man costumes and everything. So this is like everything for me to be able to point at that movie and show you how the soul works and make it that simple. So when Doctor Strange knocks Peter's soul out of his body, Peter's connection with himself is his soul. So he's not his body. It's that simple. It's like that simple. His connection with himself is his soul. That's his water. That's why he had to swim back to his body to get back into his earth, because his body is his connection with other souls. So earth is about connecting with other souls. Water is about connecting with your own soul. but you have to have your own connection with yourself before you can water earth. So that's the idea of having a soul. And then this is where Peter's body was still animating the box, because his spidey sense, aka his Tahuti tingles, his Mercury mind is so strong, he can still manipulate the matter that he made to communicate into that world. That's spidey sense. They stole these concepts from me. That's why I can make them make way more sense. All right. So again, you don't have to believe me. I'm building this for myself. It's just me documenting like how hard they stole this from me, that I can see all the esoteric true meaning of what they're doing and how they're weaponizing it against people, and how I remember teaching them this shit and being this before. So it's silly. Whatever. This is why, to be CymaTree, I got to be in the balance. If I really want to enjoy my time here and relate with you, I can't be super lost in my past lives, because I'll be too fiery and upset about how this world was literally made only from stealing from Native Americans and indigenous individuals like myself and many others. So we're all God. You have to be an individual. All right. The whole point is we're not all one God. You are your own individual God. I'm an individual God. And we're both creating the universe so we can connect. And that can only happen through a human experience. So now you as God and I as God are co-creating a human experience so we can connect. And then what are we relating on? Demons. Right? We relate on the body. The body's the demon that we relate on. We can see demons, and like we're dealing with demons, right? We're dealing with the body. We're dealing with this substance, this matter. So gang, this is like all religions. Again, I'm explaining the energy of what makes every religion work. Every religion works like this. It's elemental as far as understanding how structures are built. So yeah, hold up. I was about to get into the color thing. Black people, the point of black as a color is that we create it to support whiteness. So your whiteness is your brightness. It's you separating yourself from space. So if you don't support your separation, you're never going to exist with other individuals. So this is, again, the wisdom, my hermetic alchemy of the ego and the soul. So if you don't connect with your ego, then you're not going to express your ego with others. It's that simple. So this is the difference of lying in your home, looking at your ego, and it's separate from yourself, but you don't have the vibration to get up and make it real. I'm working on making this as relatable as possible, guys. Okay. Cause like everything I say spiritually, it's all, again, scientific. You're going to see it in relationships. You're going to see it in the mind. This is just like how space moves through space. Because one space can't touch another space. So we have to feel like we want to. And then that's where we get the elements playing out through the substances that we create to vibrate into existence. I'm pretty clean with these words at this point. Pretty clean. I'm pretty clean with it. It's because I see it as a picture. Okay. So like literally my mind works totally differently than it did when I was going through school, in college, and before fasting, really. Shout out fasting and shout out psychedelics. Thank you. That's why in this life, it's not just CymaTree, it's psychedelic CymaTree. And then really, since I'm Chase Clarence Calloway, the trippy tripsy, thrice great Hermes, it's the psychedelic psychopomp CymaTree, CCC. So you can Google psychopomp. That's a term that describes me as Hermes, my twin flame Anubis, best friend in the whole wide world, and many other spirits who guide souls through life. Like that's basically what I'm doing right now. Like by you listening to this live stream and tapping into the CymaTree in general, you are getting information that is going to help you navigate the world better. Like that's like the whole point. Like I'm here sharing with you natural information from my tree based on how I'm connecting with myself. So I don't care if you're here. right? Like this is me sharing information with myself. So a tree makes sense for itself before it makes sense for others, right? The tree has to grow the fruit from connecting with itself before you as a human can get these intestines that make sense of the fruit and how it gives you nutrients. The tree doesn't give a fuck about how your body processes these nutrients. You feel me? Like I don't give a fuck how you process these nutrients. I'm creating nutrients because this is what makes sense. And if you're in natural vibratory resonance with what makes sense, you found yourself the root of the CymaTree. And now you're here in this broadcast where I'm just going off on spirituality stuff and explaining literally how all of life is created by one individual space wanting to connect with another individual space. So you can throw quantum physics, simulation theory, all these different made up ideas out the window when you understand that the moment a space becomes aware and then connects with its awareness, it creates a soul, and then that soul creates water so it can connect with other souls. Boom. So now you're going to see why all life is water-based. All life is water-based because water is a structure that we create from connecting with ourselves naturally. This is why the universe is constantly expanding, because it's literally, we feel like connecting with other people. So that is based on how we feel like connecting with ourselves. You have to feel like connecting with yourself to make your ego realize through a mind. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm expressing my ego through my soul, and it's materializing as a mind, right? So now my mind, like this is me as Metatron in my Merkaba. I am sitting in my chi area of God, speaking my space into existence. So boom, my God is my ego, my chair is my soul, and then my mind itself is all of that playing out is me communicating. And then that's happening through the body. So now me as God in my mind, when I speak, I move my body, but I'm not this body. So this body is the slave of my mind. And that's the wisdom of knowing then how religions view you. So a religion, whoever builds a religion views you as the body of that religion. So they view you exactly how I just described how I'm moving right now. I want to go deeper into that, but I don't need to. I don't need to right now. It's fine. So yeah, wait. So God is the elements. God is strictly fire. God is fire. And when I say elements, the elements are all a different part of space that make physical reality work. So God is fire. God is the intention. God is the idea that everyone connects on. That's what we're doing here. That's basically what we're forever doing when we're thinking about spirituality, right? You as God want to connect on your individuality. But if your idea of your individuality has been colonized by the world, this is where you're going to go looking for yourself outside of yourself. So I built Mercury because long ago, I'm like, oh shit, I'm me. Well, I want to learn from others. And the best way I figured out how to learn from others is to build a structure that allows me to observe the universe. And I can just watch the universe play out forever. And it's really beautiful. This is why I love psychedelics. Again, because we're always doing this in micro levels. So like a lot of basically the people who are here right now, y'all resonate with Mercury. Like, again, y'all got to do more research and everything. Maybe you don't. Maybe I just projected and you don't need to do jack shit research. And you're doing a perfectly good job just getting this information. But I actively encourage you to be more mindful. Okay, don't just be the soul and absorb what I'm saying. Definitely take it to the internet and look up to see if like the way I'm talking about these ideas, if everything makes sense. Look at the website, compare it to other websites, whatever. Because the whole point is, again, everyone down here is perceiving me from the same way they perceive themselves. And since most people don't know that spiritually they're creating life, they think that life is happening from the bottom up. And that's what we talk about when we think about looking for God outside of oneself, thinking that life is happening from the bottom up and not from the top down. I build pyramids from the top down. Building from the bottom up is thinking that you need to gather and then like be a slave. And like it doesn't even mathematically work out because you didn't do it from one point. So spiritually, I build pyramids from one point. So that's the point in general. This is the point. All right. So you're always going to experience your life as you, as the point. I built the pyramids for you. So it's all about your ascension. So if you're alive here, the pyramids are helping you get to your point. And your point is your space, because the whole point of you being alive is that you separated from your space and you connected to another space. But I don't want you disconnected from your space. So I'm going to build structures that vibrate at a certain frequency to help you stay connected with your space. And then there's a lot of details in that. I just made that like really simple. Interfaith is a dope joke. This is solely the point that we cannot deny the supernatural. Yeah. Right. Love is the only answer. Nah, empathy is the answer. Love is a desire. Love is literally just people wanting things. So love is literally what built America. Love is what encourages slavery. You don't think the slave masters love to be slave masters? They were talking exactly like you. By the way, I got to start cutting like everything up, okay? Because the time we're in is really messed up and we're about to be suffering like horrible climate change. If people don't understand that love is not the answer, empathy is the answer. Love is the whole reason why capitalism is thriving, because humans love to eat. People love to consume, and people love to not take accountability for how they consume. So no, empathy is the answer. Facts. It means his truth comes from multiple faiths and created his own. All religions have the same origin. So you agree with him? I'll be there. What's the podcast? Hey, King CJ Dukes. The podcast is Synchronicity. All right. So I made this podcast. Y'all can be on it. Like, the whole point of me building the CymaTree is that nature happens when individuals connect. So if you're an individual in resonance with what we've got going on, with the way I naturally connect with myself, yeah, we can, boom, build a CymaTree. That's like all nature, right? That's how podcasts work. Anyone who naturally wants to go on a podcast or go on a show or whatever, that's literally just how reality naturally branches out based on the vibration, right? So the point of the podcast, Synchronicity, is letting you know that nothing is a coincidence and thus everything is intentional. When you know that nothing is a coincidence, that means that you know that your spirit, your space, is the coincidence. Everything is coinciding inside of space. Everything is happening inside of space. So then that's where we get the no coincidence. So now we can go deeper into no coincidence. So if you know your coincidence, then you know why you're alive. And now no thing is a coincidence. Now you know your thing. Nothing is a coincidence because you know that you're creating the circumstance to connect your space with another space. So check out that podcast. Yeah. We are one. Is heaven real? Man, heaven is absolutely mandatory. Heaven is your mind. Hell is the body. It's that simple. So heaven is your mind because you can be alone in your mind. So I, as Hermes, I can have my own atmosphere, my own world where I just, boom, that's my heaven. Yes, I have heaven. Like, I'm here from my heaven. The moment I make a body, that's because I'm trying to connect my heaven to other heavens. So now that's why we're in hell, because the body is chaotic. We're not in control of how spirits outside of ourselves connect with us. So hell is forever chaotic because when you're in heaven, you're in full control of space. That's only possible when you're alone. That's why God is alone. Like, everyone has to be God when they're alone in their own space. This life we're in now isn't the last. Yeah, nothing will ever be the last. The possibility of something happening is a journey I'm on. Had no idea you were running. All right. So we choose to be here. Absolutely. You are beating your heart. Like, where else is your heartbeat coming from? We need to really think about consent, guys. Like, for real, like, the only reason your heart is beating is because your spirit is sending a vibration through this physical matter. So your ego can be aware of something, right? Like, isn't that the reason why you don't want to die? You would rather be aware of here than your own space. Evolution is inevitable. That's right. Always expanding. We're here for a reason. Find your reason. Evolution is a joke. No, the way they mean it, literally, like, our bodies do evolve based on our minds evolving, right? Like, that's even the idea of superpowers. So people are constantly, because we're constantly imagining new ways to connect, that's literally the evolution of consciousness. I just explain all of consciousness. I just explain all of consciousness. Like, bro, give me $1 trillion. Like, these people are using my creations to cause climate change while saying no one is God because they want to play God. Give me your money so I can actually stop climate change, because this is ridiculous, this world. I literally just explained consciousness, but they're about to be using so much taxpayer dollars to spread metals into the environment and destroy the world, all because they're trying to understand nature and they feel like they can do it like this. Life's a circle. This life, we're about to see where it goes, okay? I'm not here for no reason, all right, basically. So if I'm already thinking like that, we're just preparing for the future, I'm pretty sure. All right, this planet is not going down. It literally just takes us believing that, though, okay? So that's the idea I'm bringing out. The fuck? It's not too late for this planet. I've been hearing people say that it's too late to save Earth for like 8 years now. And then when I go on the internet, they've been saying it since like before the 70s. So literally, this is just an idea that's created by the people who are causing climate change. We don't have to believe it's too late to stop climate change. It's us. It's our consciousness that's causing the climate right now. When you understand that your mind is air, you can comprehend how your spirit's mind is creating the atmosphere so that we can all breathe life into these bodies. Esoterically, I am on my real Hermes shit. Fuck anyone who doesn't believe in me. But also, I get it. It's fine. I completely get it. I completely understand. Physical reality is hard. I understand. It's subconscious. All right. It's all the soul. It's the connections. It's just like, fuck. It wasn't this hard to be yourself in the past. That's why, like, there's supposed to be such a revolution in this government about being yourself, because literally America's built on slavery. You feel me? All right. Football is the biggest cult in America. Thank you. Absolutely. Radiocarbon dating is a joke. Helium dating is where it's at. All right. New science. Love new science. All right. Love science. Right. Shalom. I feel like whatever it is that makes you so happy. True story. Aloha. Beneficial to you and others. Santa has nothing to do with religion. Santa is a religion. The point of religion is to make you believe in an idea. Santa is religion. You can't say Santa has nothing to do with religion when that is not even grounded in reality. So now I have to be here enjoying my 11/11, not hitting this, but cutting you up for saying such a stupid statement. What is Hermes? Google Hermes Trismegistus, or just go to my website. Here, you know what? You don't even need to go on Google. Go to my website. Everything's on my website. Whatever you're naturally supposed to Google, you'll Google from there. And then that's where you'll learn way more about how the world perceives me. But the way I connect with myself makes way more sense than how other people connect with me. Just put it like that. Okay? So I know who I am. No one else knows who I am, especially when it's been so long. Just because you aren't in a religion doesn't mean you don't believe in God. Absolutely. But is your soul not continuously evolving? Right. Absolutely. It is. It is, for sure. And that was like somebody replying to that person talking about evolution. You said shalom. Anyways, nothing, asking you for your opinion. What's your big three? You obviously don't know what shalom, it means peace and love. Yo, bro, God. And you're spreading that right now? No. What's wrong with spreading peace and love? You just smell it. Well, that. Yeah. I've never heard that perspective before. This is my individual perspective. Gang, 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 gang. Gang, 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 gang. I'm a individual spirit. All right. So I built Mercury to stabilize how I communicate my perspective into the universe. And that's all life is, right? Like all you're doing all day, every day is communicating your perspective. If you don't see school being important for you, you're going to communicate in a way that results in you not going to school. So that's literally you doing exactly what I'm talking about spiritually. It's just a matter of if you're lost in the demon of life and like being at the reaction of your own emotions instead of knowing that you're connecting right now. I couldn't agree more. They gaslighted, manipulated, and collectively psychologically abused us. It's horrible. People still believe Jesus was real. And it's funny. Yeah. And it's like people just believe anything. Well, this is what we see. This is why I'm up here speaking about this today. Like your ego is your fire and your soul is your water. All right. I really want you to see reality in the same way that I do, because you won't get lost in light supremacy anymore. Light supremacists are trying to get us lost. But when you see the elemental, hermetic, somatic nature of life, okay, new creation, CymaTree. Cymacism is us reflecting on life. So hermeticism is about us creating life. That's me in the past talking about that. But my whole new thing that no one knows about, because I'm making it up right now, is Cymacism. Right now, we're reflecting upon the life that's been created for us up to this point. For example, English, the Industrial Revolution, using this phone and this technology to communicate overall. So this is the point of Cymacism. Right now, this is us in the water. Hermeticism, that's my like fire element teachings. So like I'm naturally Hermes, so I'm speaking from Hermeticism because I'm projecting my fire. But for me to connect it with you, I'm making a new creation called CymaTree. So now no one can hold down this new thing I'm making because it's too light. Literally it's an expression of my individuality. But when you know that it's coming from my soul, when you know that it's coming from this deeper connection of Hermeticism, of Hermes, now you can see how I'm literally here to make a religion and all this world make more sense. And we're about to change the whole world. I'm not here to not change the world. Like, I'm not about to live in a world where people are actively poisoning it and saying that it's unhealthy to breathe air, but we should also believe that we were created by one individual, when I'm aware enough to know that the people who made those ideas basically just got here. Like they just got here, and like and climate change is a new phenomenon because they just got here, and they're just thieves. They're just light supremacists. They just steal. Ew. J to the ew. Take the J out. Ew. I would like this technology to work even. Man. Yay. So it's amazing. Like you see this play out in real life all the time, right? People don't need proof that Jesus is real. Like someone can give birth to their own body, live 20 years, and then go through catastrophic moments through that life where then they feel like they need support. So once they feel like they need support, this is when people are using their soul to make any idea real. And they feel like they just need to make any idea real to feel better about being alive. So now religion can come be like, hey, Jesus died for your sins. And then they don't need proof of Jesus ever existing, right? Because they're in the vibration of being a victim, Jesus comes in with that big old God dick to fill up their space, fill up their soul. And now they feel better about being alive. Now they don't feel so empty, right? That's literally everyone who believes in a religion. They feel like this idea, this ego is bigger than their own ego. So they're not fulfilled in their own ego. They're not fulfilled alone. They need this ego to come fill them up so their vibration can give that idea life. And then this is how they support the individuals who made that religion. And then once they give that idea life for 3 years, you know, they can just be having sex with that religion, esoteric sex, just getting rammed by it. They can move on to a different religion. Right. And then this is literally how religions are just relationships, and everything's a relationship. So I'm giving you like the ultimate relationship keys. Ultimate. All right. That's what you can expect. All right. This is what we're about. Life is literally the whole universe. Every relationship that you have is going to be a reflection of the relationship you have with yourself. Being happy alone is a huge step of manifesting the life the way you want. You have to love yourself. Absolutely. Absolutely. Big facts. What it do, my dude? What Gucci Elfin God? If you're still here, what's Gucci Elfin God? I know I have 99 plus new messages, so like it's kind of old, right? I'm up here spitting spirituality, okay? AKA spitting fire. There's no better words. Hermetic fire right here. I'm being a dragon, spitting some fire, but the fire is turning from fire to water to air into stable earth particles called earth that we can all stand on, right? So we can all, boom, understand my fire because I'm translating it alchemically. I'm not just up here, bah, 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 like an actual like fire breathing dragon, like, bah, you know, like, of course I'm articulating it into earth things. If Christianity was legit, why can innocent babies suffer? Aren't they supposed to be innocent? Absolutely. These statements will either awaken people or continually go over their heads. But what's nice is that even if people don't understand this now, I'm building the structure so they can understand it in a year or 2 years. So like just by doing this live and by all of us communicating, we're all building a natural plant structure that I call the CymaTree that people can tap into to tune into the mind of Mercury, and then they can learn when their time is ready. And that's like the whole point. So people, if they don't get it now, they may find me in a year, 2 years, 3 years. I'm young. Technically, I'm 24. So I feel old, but I feel really young. I mean, I've lived all these past lives, but like this body's young. I feel pretty young. So, balance forever. That's crazy. I have real nice time with them. Have you researched anything about the demons of ours? I have not. Please make a kids edition of this so I can explain it to my kids better. Well, what would you want to explain to your kids? Because I feel like this is perfect for kids. Like I can talk to my little nieces on this level, and I got them telling me who they were from past lives already. Like, bro, if you tap into your kids, as in like get your kids to tap in, that's obviously a horrible way to say it. Don't tap into your kids based on some physical thing or whatever, obviously. But as far as mentally tapping into your kids so that you can emotionally get your kids to tap into themselves, they're way more in tune with their past lives than someone who has been indoctrinated through the school system. So because I'm on my past life stuff from fasting and decolonizing my mind and my soul and everything, just me connecting with my little nieces, they are in Christianity, right? So the whole point of like that religion, they're not talking about past lives. The point of that religion is saying, hey, you just got here. You're created by English. Because that's basically all the Bible says. All right. Just translating. You were created by the English language. They try to act like they're translating it from things, but no, you're created by English. You're created by our God, and you need to work your way to heaven. So you better be working this whole lifetime to go somewhere else instead of being happy alone. But because I'm in touch with myself, I could talk to my little nieces to where she said, my little, that's hilarious. I keep saying nieces. It's because they call me uncle and they're not supposed to. We're cousins, but it's some kind of vibration thing or whatever. My cousins literally told me that they lived before. And I've never like gotten really kids to tell me that they lived before until I got up to the point of acting like it's natural. And so then when I'm like, just like naturally expressing like, oh yeah, like this is me from before. This is why I'm an artist like this now. I've carried this from before. So I'm developing upon this right now. What are you developing upon? The kids will just naturally go along with it. They'll be like, oh, so literally like, check this. Like my cousin, she's super nice, super cool here, right? Like she's super like colorful, but she was like, oh, I was a pirate princess warrior. She said it exactly like that. She was like, I was a pirate princess warrior. And I got her to like repeat that over and over just because I wanted to make sure she knew what words she was saying. So even like over time, I like forgot about it, but then we would talk again and I'd be like, hey, so you lived before Waverly. What was your name again? Or what were you again? I was a pirate princess warrior. I'm like, that's crazy. And what did you do? I tortured people. I'm like, whoa. And she's like, but I don't do that anymore. I'm different now. And I'm like, that's wild, Waverly. So you like to torture people? So you torture people as a pirate princess? She's like, it's just part of the job. And then it's like insane because once I'm naturally talking to them like that, they're sharing their past lives. And it's like learning, like she's literally comprehending like, no, I'm different now. Like, it's okay. Like, I'm here to be different. I don't want to torture anymore. Cause then once we would go down that path of conversation, she was like, but in this life, I'm sensitive because, and then she'll like bring it to a story in school. And then she told me about how like someone called her a name and that hurt her feelings. And I'm like, bro, spirits are trippy. This is the soul. Okay. This is what it's like to hang out with Mercury. All right. You're not going to not be in touch with yourself. You're going to catch this hermetic fade. All right. And kids catch it the best because they have no weird resistance to feeling like we're all created by someone else. They naturally want to be creative. So they're just thinking about their past lives. And that's where my other cousin, she was like, I wasn't a pirate princess warrior. I was a genie dancer. And then her whole thing is like, she's opposite to her sister. So one sister is a pirate princess warrior who like used to be violent and she enjoys torturing people. And then the other sister is super nice, super fluffy, and she grants wishes to nice people. And she's like super magical. And now, of course, these girls are obsessed with Disney because Disney has captured magic. Right? Disney is supposed to be the magic that kids are limited to. Magic, like kids can't do real magic. Kids can't do real hermetic avatar alchemy. They can't actually bend their elements to create the life of their dreams. They need to pay money and be trapped by Disney. And then that's where Disney is all about the magic of Disney and everything they stole from Native Americans. But Disney, right? Disney goes deep. Jesus, Lord, please give your life to Jesus before it's too late, homie. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Gotta love these comments like this, especially when I'm in this energy and for people like actually being here watching, we're all cracking up. For me to like explain all this history and then someone to come in still and be like, give your life to Jesus. Hilarious, cracking up. I'm sauced right now, but I will never deny the truth. Write them down. Yeah. All right, y'all are talking about your dreams. They said a name I never heard. It's probably not true. I thought it was. Hey, it's magic. All right. Houdini type shit. Hey, life is crazy. All right. Does this life prepare us for the next one? Does this life just prepare us for the next one? The point is you're always building upon yourself. So your life is always an expression of your space. So, I mean, at that point, that's the point of me making Mercury. Again, I'm here relaying you the message that yes, you might as well always build upon how you connect with yourself. This is why I have my whole website and just everything where I'm the only one who can connect my past lives like this because it's my business. My body is my business. So all the bodies I've used to express myself are part of my business of Mercury. So this is a bigger part of a cosmic thing that is so big, you can only perceive it in many different levels of wherever you're at. But that's the point of me building. I'm here for you once you keep awakening. So if you don't get a lot of what I'm saying, that's fine. Give it time. Your soul is growing. You're developing. The fact that you found me in general, I mean, you're in some kind of resonance. Why do I feel like the best people, like the good, die young? Why is that? That's just an idea you have. Bad people die young too. It's just easy to feel like a victim and feel like the good die young. But if you really want to get into the energy of it, you could say that people who are good are self-sacrificing. So people who identify with the energy of good, they're not thinking of how to make things better for themselves. They're thinking of how to make things better for others. And then that's where it's really easy for good people to get taken advantage of. And now they sacrifice a bunch for others. And they did the good thing, but now they die young. Because they weren't evil, they didn't think for themselves, they weren't selfish, and they didn't build a life that could sustain their desires first before sacrificing things to other people. That would be why the good die young, esoterically. Nothing is a coincidence, right? Bro, if you're in here watching my live stream like this, having these conversations, listen to the podcast. All right? I love you a lot. I see you. You're an athlete. You're about your health. You're about your mentality. You're about your spirituality. I see you, bro. Absolutely. Listen to the podcast. Synchronicity. Nothing is a coincidence. We go way deeper. All right? It's really easy to listen to it when you're working out. Really easy to listen to it when you're doing homework. I love to listen to podcasts growing up when I was doing homework. I love to listen to podcasts in general growing up. So I made this podcast for people like me. Like, podcasts had an impact on my life growing up. So I made this shit because I know how powerful art is in general. Like, I'm making all this shit because I know how powerful art is. The heart is. Earth is the heart. But we got to make Earth from the heart. So, hey, here we are making our bodies together. I've never heard anything about Native Americans being what you said. That's because I'm a real Native American, and everything you hear about Native Americans has been whitewashed by the system meant to erase Native Americans. So, gang, that's why. Absolutely. Talk about water fasting. It raises your vibration. Is some people here actual aliens but look like human? For sure. Technically, everyone's an alien because they're from somewhere else and we're all looking human. But at that point, when we're talking about like actually like the resonance of being an alien versus being born here, still it's a concept. It's rather prevalent. It's a concept that's rather prevalent. The idea of consciousness switching, right? And the idea of like using your consciousness to switch from one body on one planet to another planet so you can take over that planet. You know? Just saying. Just saying. As far as the concept of an alien, like, people really keep thinking about aliens like they're super physical and they would come from the atmosphere of the planet and land and crash. That's how we're taught to think about them in movies and stuff. I'm just letting you know it would be way more of a mental, spiritual thing of a spirit from one planet, from one atmosphere, using its own mind to take over the bodies in another atmosphere so that it can invade that world. So because it didn't technically build its body out of and build its consciousness, build itself out of that atmosphere, because it technically took over a body in that atmosphere, it's an alien. So they would never look like an alien to you because they have to use the same body that you're using to exist in the same atmosphere that you are. But their mind thinks nowhere near the same way that yours does. And then that's where we get the concept of aliens ruling over humans right now and all this stuff being an alien operation. We are equal. Is there only one Hermes or more? There is only one Hermes. Spirituality is individuality. So Hermes Trismegistus is the expression of one body, one messenger of Mercury. And my spirit built Mercury to stabilize how it connects with the universe. So every messenger of Mercury is the expression of one soul. And that's where we can talk about past lives. That's where we can talk about how every body you take on is the expression of your soul. So Hermes is one body. And then when Hermes passes on from that life, Hermes lives life as a different body. He still identifies as Hermes, but he doesn't look like Hermes in that world. And that's me right now. So now I'm Chase Clarence Calloway, because Hermes Trismegistus is about becoming thrice great. And then that's where Triple C is CCC. It's all the mathematics. It's all about CymaTree, psychedelic stuff, communication, yeah. But the whole point is my individuality is tied to the structure I built inside the universe. So now no matter how many bodies I take on throughout the world, throughout the universe, whatever, throughout all simulations, they're all tied to me being called away from Mercury. So this is why I'm Chase Callaway or Chase Callaway. And then that's the point of, again, just connecting in general. So I'm making sense of how I connect with others. Like, I'm not just born into this world because I'm like, no, I'm like here very consciously. That's why I can let you know how an alien would come in here and invade this place, because it's no different than how I was born. It's just that I did it naturally, and an alien would do it hyper logically with some like messed up technology. And then that's where they would be obsessed with living here forever. Right. And then that's where we get a lot of science and a lot of the weird stories that we have and everything about aliens. We're all connected to something. He's connected to Hermes. Hermes is the expression of my space. So you are connected to your own space, but your space does not exist if it doesn't create something to represent itself with another space. So I myself am creating the structure that I'm using to express myself. Hermes isn't just something I'm connected to. Hermes is the expression of me as a spirit. So that's the body that made my soul matter back in that time. So I could build all this stuff that we're talking about now. So I can take one as well. That's why self-work is important and goes deep. Do you know what you're connected to? Everyone is connected to themselves. Again, like, it's about you having your own individuality. This is why my individuality, my individual structure in the universe is Mercury. So any body that is connected to that is an expression of the soul that also created Mercury. And then this is how I'm connecting with the universe as a space. So this is why you can go on the internet and see that Thoth and Hermes are the expression of one spirit. They're not connected by like something in reality. They're both one spirit. So they're both two aspects of one spirit. So you can think of Thoth or Tahuti as the earth aspect of my space, and then Hermes is the air aspect of my space. And then really there's infinite aspects of space. So this is me as Metatron, as a spirit communicating that. So then the whole idea of the metaverse is stolen from Metatron. That's stolen from me. That's literally them trying to fulfill the idea of being God and fulfilling basically like all aspects of space and trapping our minds inside of their imagination. So now they can connect us in the way that they want and build the virtual reality constructs for us in the way that they want, all because they have stolen everything from indigenous peoples. Good for them. No, I'm still working on my ego. Shadow work. We all have guides and protectors you can literally communicate with due to meditation. Absolutely, absolutely. Now it's just more attacking the masculine energy in rap. Can be, and you're just stuck with whatever this world's throwing at you really is. Indigenous peoples know the truth. Absolutely. What does indigenous mean? Indigenous means that you create yourself. So again, link in my bio. Join Chase Your Genes, because I go really deep on all of that. All right. So if you like actually like read the website and watched the videos on the website, you almost wouldn't have any more questions. Like I made it very specifically so that you don't have many questions when you come out of it. You just understand and you want to learn more, basically. So indigenous, I'll just to answer your question right now, indigenous means you created yourself. So an indigenous person knows that they created themselves. So the idea of being indigenous is an individual. So when you're individual, you're indivisible from yourself. And that's you knowing that you had to go in to create life. So this is everything that I expose and dissect the dialect. M-N-O. The letter N represents nature, nothingness. O represents the spirit. So now we can see how nature and nothingness, really nature is the soul. The N word is a soul. So us as Native Americans are called black people, and then we're called the N word because we go inward to create nature. And nature is an expression of our souls. And then this is where the men who want to make money off of nature can use slavery to manipulate us. And then that's where we get money needing nature to exist, right? That's why you can't find money in nature. Money is backed up by what? Gold, trees, CymaTrees, caduceus gold, emerald tablets, minerals in general, earth, nature, right? Money doesn't exist, nature exists. But money is the idea that's meant to consume nature. But then the issue with that is nature is always going to remind money that money doesn't matter, matter doesn't matter, nothing matters. And nature is an expression of nothing. So when you know that you are nothing, aka your spirit, your space is nothing, then you know that you are creating nature to be something. And then that's where everything that matters to you is an expression of your mind. And you're good. Now you can have your own simulation in the universe and you can party on cosmic levels. I love partying in the universe. Let me take a little detour to say that partying in the astral realm is so lit. This dimension is garbage. Like, this dimension is really garbage. It's a slavery dimension. We're in a slave dimension. It's been enslaved by this number that we call money, right? So now, because all of our elements are forced to only make sense through money, we have to build up the world and serve everyone who has money. And this is why people who have money can do anything. This is why the legal system was built by people who have money, so people with money can get away with slavery consistently and get away with murder consistently, and they never actually get justice. Because the point is, it's just us. The people who made up money are enslaving Native Americans because they want it to be just us. And this is how they're enacting genocide throughout the world, genocide throughout this whole simulation. And it's why I'm here talking about it, because I care about it. All right. So this is, again, business trip from Mercury, just us talking about it, me caring about it, me building a structure right now, because I'm saving this live stream, putting it on YouTube. So even when people weren't here right now, if they're in vibrational alignment, they will get connected, and we all build this together. So indigenous peoples get along with other indigenous peoples because of what I explained right there. That we all know we're individual. So when I know I created myself, I see you as a creator of yourself, and I literally respect you. A Christian is opposite to an individual because they don't believe they created themselves. It's that simple. So because they don't believe they created themselves, they can't see you as an individual. They literally see you as a slave to their imagination. And if you don't agree, then they're going to stab you in the back and lie about it and say they were justified because God wanted it. And that's an expression of their individuality. So then that's where we have to know that the ultimate God of the cosmos would not let that happen. Obviously, that's just them as an individual using God as an excuse to do what they as an individual want to do. And that's all anyone uses God to do. That's why God is always your relationship with your ego. You as God have a relationship with your ego, but your ego is the individual expression of you. So only you can have a personal relationship with God. No one can tell you what God wants for you. Like, if someone comes and tells you what God wants for you and you don't feel like that's true, now what? Boom. Like, you're forced to realize your individuality. Are you not? Like, you're forced to realize that you have a higher perspective about who you are over this other person. We can walk, teach, and heal. We're all connected to the cosmos. But what is this cosmos even? Cosmos is space, which equals empty mind. Yeah, basically the cosmos is the universal web of connections that allows our consciousness to connect, or allows our egos to connect. But our egos experience themselves as forms of consciousness, whatever. So really our egos are all imaginary. Us as spirits, we imagine our egos. When we want to experience our egos with each other, we create the universe that can connect us so that we can ignite our egos into it and build a consciousness with it. Right? So the way that my consciousness expresses itself is a representation of my ego. And only me as a spirit can see all of that. only I as a spirit can see all my past lives and how all of my egos are connected. And then it takes me using the consciousness that I have developed inside of this atmosphere to communicate that in a way that makes sense for you. And now you can learn about your consciousness. You can learn about your past lives. You can learn how to get connected to yourself in a way that makes sense in this English language, because no one else is speaking anywhere close to this because they're not me. This world is run by violence and negativity, sadly. Absolutely. Very sad. All we can do is laugh about it and hope to make it better through comedy or whatever, but it is very sad. It won't be my last. Yeah, I knew it. I'm joining, taking my bowl. Hilarious. Absolutely. You talking about spiders got me thinking of the way they build their webs. Are they trying to calm wit? Spiders are time weavers. So the point of webs is that they are the structures that stabilize space. And time is the first structure that stabilizes space. So it's very ethereal, but then it manifests on like a metaphysic level. So and that's where they're like super geometric and beautiful. And then that's why Spider-Man is literally the interdimensional superhero, because it's all Mercury energy. It's all about this 8-dimensional spider energy. It's all about knowing that you as the observer are watching the connections that you create in the universe. And that's you being Mercury yourself. So that's you being Spider-Man, because that's you being Hermes. That's you being the own messenger of God. That's you knowing that with great power comes great responsibility. Boom, that's Hermetic. So that's you knowing that your power is your ego, your responsibility is your water. And the more you respond to your own ability, you have power. You see that? So the more you respond to your own imagination, you use your vibration to give your ego life. And now you're able to express yourself in a way that builds the life of your dreams. Gang, gang. How did Jesus fast for 40 days? By generating inner chi. The same way I fast, generating inner chi. Do you meditate? Yeah. Put some fluid on that torch. Bro, this torch is just capping, all right? I mean, let me see. Actually, thank you for reminding me. I'll be right back. Okay. Are greens going on? Am I the only one? I'm pretty sure. Well, Young C's. All right. So Young C's tuned in. We're here. We're blazing, talking spirituality. I'm pretty sure other people are. I'm about to start seeing comments of people saying that they are once I get to them through your web. Yeah. Law. I used to feel guilty thinking I'm smarter than God when the whole time I am God. Yeah, that's hilarious. That just represents that you know that you're smarter than the people who built your language, though. So there we go. You got yourself out of that witchcraft. Way to go. Coacher. Way to go, Coacher. If you felt like you're smarter than God, that's just because you're smarter than the people who made the language you're using to communicate. So now when you know that you are God, you're like, why am I using a dumb language to communicate? Oh, to connect with others, right? It's not that you're dumb. We're not dumb. None of us here are dumb. The people who made this language are dumb. So all of us as gods are in here right now connecting on basically how dumb the world is. Like if you're literally vibing with me this whole time, you're definitely connecting with me on how spirituality is smarter than physical reality and religion. Because literally, once you understand spirituality, you see how everything is spiritual. And that's where I can just infinitely connect anything I say to how it plays out in physical reality. Literally. It's pretty beautiful. That's why life is beautiful. Life is psychedelic. Gotta love it. This is what Bruce Lee was telling us. Hilarious. Was it? Wow. That statement resonates, huh? Skin issues, I'm thinking that parasites or demons, is having a hard time healing. What is empty? Is it just to feel for someone else? Is there more than that? I don't know what you're saying. What is empty? Is it just to feel for someone else, or is there more than that? Okay. Empty is when you don't feel good enough alone. So if you don't feel like you want to be alone with yourself, if you don't feel like you're fulfilled, this is the concept of a Holy Spirit. Literally, you're about to just see the witchcraft of Christians and religion right here, because they can't run away from the language that they stole from me. They can't run away from these hermetic principles that they've stolen from me to create this garbage that we're experiencing right now. They can't run away from it because it's all connected to itself. So I, as the creator of these ideas, have a much greater perspective on how they connect in the universe than they do. A Holy Spirit is literally a spirit that is holy because it feels like it is full of holes. And to be full of holes is to feel like you need to suck the attention of others. So this is where a Holy Spirit is going to go out of its way to come to you and tell you that it needs your attention. And it's going to create all this logic as to why it needs you to constantly give your energy to it. And it needs you to let it possess you. Because then this is the witchcraft of, again, Christianity. Like Christians, at the same time, they're demonizing possession, right? Like someone can be like, you're possessed. And they're like constantly throwing that word out. I can't understand how they contradict themselves so hard. But they somehow, in the same breath, will be like, you're possessed. You're possessed by a demon. You need to be possessed by the Holy Spirit. Like they don't even like use a different word at that point. Like you need, like, what do they say? You need to be cleansed. There we go. That's how they would use their language to make it seem like you're not being possessed. You're possessed by a demon. You need to be cleansed by the Holy Spirit. Bro, that's just more possession. So now you have to teach me about this other spirit that's holy. So it's holy because, right, it's, again, guys, full of holes. So when you're full of holes, you're unfulfilled. You want to be a whole spirit, not a Holy Spirit. When you're a whole spirit, that's you being fulfilled. And now, boom, you're like CymaTree. You're like Hermes. You have your own simulation and you're sharing gifts. You're sharing fruits. You're sharing your own ideas and your own things from it. And that's you growing a structure. That's not you going out of your way to tell people you need them and then you enslave them. Because that's how Christianity, Judaism, and like all the New World Order has built everything. Like America's built on slavery. We know this. And we know that slavery was rationalized with the Bible. So it's the point. It was the point. It's the point. It was the point. There's no like forgiving it. Like you can't know. Like it's not about forgiving it. It's about forgetting it, and not forgetting it as in ignoring it, but forgetting it as in build something better. And the only way we can build something better is if we all believe in ourselves together. But this idea that we're all expressions of one God was created to cause climate change. And I'm letting you know elementally how it plays out, because God is the fire. So when we all believe that we're expressions of one God, that literally means that this whole world is supposed to be consumed in fire. And that's what the Bible literally says in all that stuff and whatever. So Christians even try to act like it's supposed to be what happens. When no, that's literally the projection, the profitable projection of the religion that made this language. How about a Discord server? I don't even know really how Discord works. If you could put me on that. No, I'll do it myself. That's hilarious. But if you're suggesting it, maybe I could use some help. I have a Discord. It is CymaTree. I just don't know how it would work. If it would make more sense than being live on here, then cool. Because I do know that Discord is more meant for this kind of thing. So that's a suggestion. I do have a Discord. I just don't really know how it works. And whatever. My name is Heaven and I am real. Absolutely. Your heaven is your mind. So my mind is my heaven. My body is my hell. And your body is becoming real from your heaven. So your name is Heaven, right? Your name is imaginary, right? I can't look at your body and see your name. So your name is literally, your mind. That's your air. That's your atmosphere. That's allowing you to breathe life into this thing for sure. You are real. You're making it real right now. No, it's not. Planet is not going down. Planet is not going down. Absolutely. Absolutely. Planet is prosperous. All right. There's a lot of money in it for us. All right. We could make a lot of money if we invest in technology that reverses climate change. I'm just saying that's where my mind has been at. And that's what I'm focusing on. I don't have the resources. I'm living the Jesus life. Okay. I wasn't born into a rich family. I lived a black experience. I lived a Native American black experience. So, I don't have much. All right. It's all spiritual. It's all about like getting the wisdom out artistically and like building and connecting in a certain way. It's some karmic thing. This life's been hard, but it's whatever. It's 111 for me. Absolutely. You think this is a recording? You're hilarious. I'm just not getting distracted by whatever you're constantly trying to get me to focus on. Yeah, I am behind. Gang, gang. I do live in California. Absolutely. I'm in LA. Do you know Sarah Adams? I don't know Sarah Adams. Disney is evil. You may deny Jesus, but he does not deny you. Okay. So again, and that is projection, right? So you're literally telling me that as a Native American, me being happy with my own religion doesn't matter to you. You need me to accept Jesus. So you're going to make up in your mind, oh, you may have denied my idea, but my idea doesn't deny you. And now you get a rapist. This is why Catholicism is like full of that. Again, just obvious play out of the energy, guys. It's very easy to make examples of anyone. Come up here, anybody. You're playing out energy that I can way more easily explain than whatever you're trying to say it is. Because I'm literally telling you like how disgusting that historically is. Like that idea is what rationalizes genocide and slavery. Like, oh, you may deny our religion, but our religion doesn't deny you. Like, let them have their own religion. Leave these Native Americans alone. What? No, you need to be our slaves. And now here I am speaking English. This simulation sucks. I hate this simulation. I hate this one. I really do. But that's why I'm here. All right. Because it's bad and it needs my help. That's the only reason I'm alive. So at least I have a purpose here. And then that's where I'm up here with the fire, right? You see me with the fire. I'm just got the fire. Shit. This isn't my fire, of course, because this is fake fire. That's why it's not even working. But you see me up here expressing my imagination. I'm just connecting it in a way that makes sense. So everyone who can make sense of the world and whatever the fuck can listen to this and do that. That's what we're doing. Disney is evil. Shout out to Jesus. Hilarious. Does water fasting higher your consciousness than meditation? Both. Water fasting does make meditation easier. That's exactly right. Water fasting is like living in a constant state of meditation. Like water fasting forces you to be in a meditative state. Like it forces you to be more conscious of like your space and you start to communicate way different. I love water fasting, guys. A lot. All right. That's why, again, link in the bio. Okay. We have like 24 hours of classes and like I've made them so cheap right now. Like that shit's really about to be going up. Okay, so school is so expensive and school taught me diddly garbage. School gave me health problems. Okay, so if you like what you're hearing here, know that I have my own school. It's chaseyourgenes.com. We have our online courses. You can get tapped into that and we'll go hard in the education of how your mind makes your muscles matter. Right? Because that's something that all of us can agree on. All right. I'm making sure everyone of all religions can agree. That's why I'm the messenger of God. I'm pop up in all religions because I unite air and earth. I'm the master, Hermes, air and earth master. That's the universe, minds and bodies. It's all possible because of water. That's what Mercury is. Me carrying water to the earth through the air. Got the mind. I'm expressing my soul, but what's my soul expressing? My ego. Boom. I'm God. You're God. It's just that people's idea of God is thinking that God is responsible for everything, when the point is you as God are responsible for yourself. You as God are responsible for your own circumstances. When you know that you're responsible for your own circumstances, you know that you actually have to consent to connect with other people. Now it's not about feeling like you have to go to source or feeling like you have to serve something outside of yourself, basically. Like once you know that you're God, you know you have to choose to connect with others. And that's where you're fulfilled inside of yourself. So don't be a Holy Spirit. Don't be possessed by someone else. Be a whole spirit. Be fulfilled. And that's you having abundance. And that's manifestation overall. Like if you're manifesting the life of your dreams, it's about abundance. It's about you knowing that you're fulfilled first. When you know that you're fulfilled first, you will bring that into the universe. But the people who create scarcity in the world, aka the people causing climate change right now, they look like they have resources, right? These rich people look like they have money, but they're not using it to help anybody. Like so many rich people in the world can make so much good change happen, but they're not using their money to help anybody. Why? Because they're in a mental state of scarcity. It doesn't matter that they have $5 bajillion in their bank account. They, for some reason, think they need to cause climate change and spread more slavery to get more because it's a mindset thing. It's so messed up here. Man. Everyone has the right to believe whenever they want to believe in. Mark, Yeshua didn't actually want to be worshipped. That's right. He was born, man, yes, glory to him, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's not even worth looking at. Money is the root of all evil. We don't have to say that, all right, guys? Money isn't evil, okay? I'm the god of currency, all right? I'm literally Hermes Trismegistus. Money isn't evil, all right? When you look up money, when you look up the idea of currency, everything that Europeans consider currency came from me, literally from me as a spirit, as Mercury. And it's because I, as Mercury, generate my own currency to build my own structure. That's literally Mercury. So when I do that, that naturally becomes the idea of money. But when people want to steal the structures of other people, they're going to learn from Hermes how to not build their own structure, but use this idea to steal things from Native Americans and then steal things from just an indigenous overall planet. So money is an idea. Ideas aren't evil, but ideas are egotistic and thus unrelatable. So it's always about what you do with the idea. Right? Like what one person does with money is not what another person is going to do with money. So money isn't the root of all evil. The root of all evil would be desire. So money is created out of the desire to consume. So there you go. You can say that. If you think the root of evil, desire. Like you just like to make it as simple as possible, spirituality, the spiritual reality is desirelessness. That's why we water fast. We're getting closer to desirelessness, so we're raising our vibration. That's good. But then evil is being lost in physical reality. That's us being lost literally in thinking we need to constantly consume. And now our vibration is forever like lowering and we're like constantly dense. Let me be your mod, please. You know, I understand wanting a safe atmosphere, right? Like as we build up our whole spirituality thing and like we're all infinite individuals, like leveling up together and like people try to come in here and tell us to worship their ideas. And I just spent like 2 hours cutting up those ideas. So they're obviously super ignorant and they don't know what they're talking about. So it's like, why let them speak? I let them speak because I really do believe that everybody matters. I really do believe that everyone's individuality matters. So if you're coming in here expressing your individual ideas, telling us that we need to be a slave to you, it's just giving me as an individual the opportunity to articulate what matters. Again, but in a way that maybe you'll understand if you feel like speaking. And then this is where somehow my spirit is going to work through me to connect with the people that are really passionate about what we're talking about, but they're doing it in like a fiery way, right? They're doing it in a projective way, right? They're not here to necessarily listen. They're like telling us, no, you're all slaves. You all need to worship my idea of life. And it's like, okay, yeah. Like, hey, can we get them out? We don't need to get them out. Like, if they're here to learn, then they're here to learn. If they start to be a problem, we can't get them out. But no one is like super duper been a problem yet, because it is just kind of like, so what you say a comment, life goes on. You just want to be seen, you know, like whatever. And if you really don't vibe with what someone in here is saying, I feel like you can block them individually, right? So it's whatever. You know, again, we're just open communication. The people who are not actually supposed to be here won't be here for long. Rita B is here. What's Gucci, Rita B? You know what? Let's hit to that. I saw you join the website. Congrats. Oh. Good evening to you. You can't steal something if it's all connected. That's, it's not true. So here's an example of stealing something. If I build land out of water, all right, so if I create a body of water because I feel like connecting with space outside of myself, okay, I'm getting you into God mode right now, alchemical mode, okay? So as a spirit, if I create a body of water because I want to connect with another spirit, and then I create earth out of that water to stabilize how I connect, so now I build a body out of that earth, and now we're living life like this, then I built all that myself. You would be stealing it if you made up your own idea that we could call money in this case, and you say, oh, I love the world that you built here. I think it's worth $100. That's you stealing my world, literally. And this is the alchemy playing out, guys. Like, this is why the word steal is steal, because your fiery idea of money is transforming the earth structure that I built into metal. So now this metal, this is why all this metallic technology is literally fire and earth coming together, because it's supposed to be turning earth into something that used to serve the collective into something that serves one individual. So that's the point of money in general. So whoever said that my land is worth $100, now they can devalue everything while consuming everything. So it's like somehow a messed up consumptive win-win for them. Like fire is weird like that. Like that's like, it's really wild. A consumptive win-win for them. Like they get to come in here and eat me because they said that my body was worth $100, and because they made up money, they have infinite dollars to eat me and all of my family. And that's a Native American existence now. Bro, this simulation is cap. Big cap. Again, that's why I need to know I'm not this world, all right? Because that's rough. So that's how you steal something, okay? The whole point is you're saying you can't steal something if it's all connected. You are denying my consent to connect what my individual ideas are. So if my individual idea connects in the universe in this way, that's because I chose to communicate it. And you would steal it to tell me that I'm an expression of your God. That's what Christianity does. That's what the religions that created Christianity do. Humans don't need religion. We have nature. What does holy mean? I already explained what holy means. That's hilarious. It means that you're unfulfilled. So it means that you need to consume the attention of others to be happy and to feel good. And then that's the whole idea of religion, right? The whole idea of like going out of one's way to do crusades or spread missions. Like, oh, I need other people to focus on my Jesus. You need to worship my Jesus. And then that's where they go out and spread murder and do horrible things to make sure that people know love. Why do you use TikTok if you have all this elemental connectivity? To communicate with people like you. To connect to those that don't yet. Absolutely. Absolutely. And the whole point is my elemental connectivity is Mercury. I'm bringing Mercury into Earth, into this technology as CymaTree, because virtual reality is going to be wild. So I went to school, the Art Institute of Chicago. It's like a super lit ass art school. Did like everything. I did fashion design, I did costume design, I did music production, I did virtual reality stuff. I got into 3D and Oculus. I like very much have prepared in this life for virtual reality, because this is going to be the technology that's causing climate change, and it's going to be capturing people's minds. Think about Black Mirror. If people are literally scared of death and don't know this basic elemental stuff of what I'm talking about, technology is literally going to trap people's souls. Literally. So this is important. I hate how they make it seem like you have to pick a religion. Right. Christian Bible stole from other ancient books. Exactly right. Only American mindsets work like this. I thought the Bible was written in Hebrew, so they stole Hebrew? The whole idea of the ideas of the Bible are stolen from Zoroastrianism. So it's not the language, it's about the system of spirituality. So look into all that. Like, you'll just see that that's like basic, like, history of religion, basically. Like, they can't run away from it. Again, it's like basic history. That's why, like, the only reason I would be here saying things that sound super controversial is because I have the basic history to stand on. So, like, people who, like, are not in their feelings about this and they just care about the logic of the world and, like, how things actually did come to be can go on Google, right? Because I get it, Google's God, whatever. But the whole point is that we create Google. So if you just look at everything on Google, it's all us as humans documenting life. And then again, they can't run from that. That's why, although America doesn't teach slavery in school, everything about America is slavery. And like, now this is like the main thing that people relate on in the spiritual community. And it's somehow something that America's making money on acting like they care about, but they'll never give reparations and they'll never give Native Americans their land back or apologize for any of these things. What do you think of LGBTQ? Everyone's gender fluid. Like, the whole point is that your fire is your man, your water is your woman. Okay, so this means that your ego is your man, your soul is your woman, and when you combine them, your spirit can experience itself as a mind, which means that your mind is the expression of nothing. So you can be anything. That's cool. And then now you're like, that's the mind being infinitely colorful. So like, that's the idea of like gay people having the rainbow, literally. Like, on a spiritual level, I just explained why hermetically gay people have the rainbow. It's because they are in the full spectrum of the mind. They're not limited by black and white or like Masonic religious type thinking. And that's the natural expression of all of our minds. We're all gay. And then this is why the word gay originally meant happy. Okay, so this is the vibration of this English language. Learn about the truth of the soul from the vibrations of the language that you're communicating in. It's right there. Gay meant happy. It only like recently started meaning like homo and whatever based on culture changing. But the vibration still stands. God is internal. The universe gave us the God power is internal. Us as gods. So you are infinitely powerful. I'm infinitely powerful. It's just a matter of us creating a circumstance where we can connect with each other. So that's why the universe is what we're creating to connect with each other. The universe didn't give us shit. We create the universe so we can connect. This is how you get superpowers, by the way. Like, when you like fully understand what I'm talking about and like really live in it, this is how you know that you're making life possible. So now there's like no death. Let's go, bro. I'm going to try intermediate fasting with microgreens. Love it. Do that. That'll be a fantastic move. It's internal. We hold trillions of microbiome and other bacteria. Absolutely. Just like this planet, right? And it's so stupid. This is so stupid that people somehow believe that Earth has more activity on the surface than on the inside. Does your body have more activity on the surface than on the inside? Like, just like objectively, straight up, like, does your human body have more going on the outside than it does on the inside? Somehow, I just can't comprehend how humans don't get this correlation of the Earth being the body and how our bodies are a reflection of Earth. So if we have a beating heart on the inside, if we have all this blood, we have lungs, we have all these organisms organizing into orgasms based on having sex, coming into existence, coming out of existence, coming in and out like a circle, because they're psychedelic and we're on a water cycle, but we're stabilizing it. If we didn't have that internally, then how would we have this externally? And so then it's like taking that to the Earth. If the Earth has all of this externally, if the Earth has us living externally, why would it also not have the same things going on in our body where there's more activity, there's more energy, the heart is beating from the inside, your body's being created from the inside out. People are literally like, we're lost in this garbage light supremacist science of thinking about the Earth from the outside in. And it's like the inside's just a bunch of hot metal and it's a big rock in space and life only got here because water landed. That's alien thinking, bro. This is alien science. That's alien science right there. All right, that's alien science. Literally, that's alien science. The Earth came out of the water. So to answer someone's question earlier, here's the difference between indigenous and alien. Indigenous and alien. Indigenous is you came out of the water that you created. Alien is you're invading the water that you're consuming. That simple. Completely opposite sides of the polarity of the universe. So there's indigenous peoples and there's alien peoples. The indigenous peoples always come out of their own water. The aliens always consume someone else's water. So this is why aliens are forever using technology to travel to other planets and then create governments that consume the souls of the indigenous peoples creating that planet. The love of money is the root of all the evil. You know, I don't even want to say the love of money is the root of all evil. Like, no, I mean, that's closer though. That's fair. You're kind of right. You're kind of right. The desire. It is the desire to have money because money is a made up idea. So you just desire to project into the world that you're in. And then really that just means you desire to control the world, right? Like the whole point of someone using money to enslave someone, use slavery at all, is because they want to control you, right? So like your whole life, you have to serve money because the people who made up money want to control you. Objectively, that's the only reason why you have to use money to do anything here. That's the only reason we have to use money to do anything here, because the aliens who made up money want to use it to control indigenous peoples. So you can see the concepts here, right? So it's not about getting lost in the actual earth of it. Understand the energy. You were born in this reality. You were born out of these waters. Your body's water-based. An alien is someone who is hyper communicating to use a concept to control how you communicate in the world where you were born. So they can build a government out of you. If you ever seen Doctor Who, you'll see that this is their whole concept of aliens in general. And like, this is just the whole concept of being like an alien being logical and an indigenous person being emotional. So now we kind of get the interplay of masculine and feminine. And where an alien being masculine is all about projecting into other realities. And an indigenous spirit being feminine is about connecting inside of its own reality. So now the alien has something to project into. So if indigenous peoples didn't build their own earths, aliens wouldn't have things to go out and consume and act like they need to do this. It's so disgusting. Boo. Shame on them. And that's why they're okay with eating humans and whatever, because they don't view it the same way that humans do. And then that's where they know that they can manipulate humans' ideas of what it means to eat humans. And then Get you to sign organ donor on that card. What do you remember when you were with the other spirits from the other planets? Oh, I remember a lot. It's a lot of conversations, a lot of awesome conversations. A lot of this is coming from me naturally being back in those waters. So if I didn't separate my mind from my body and go hang out in these other atmospheres, I wouldn't have the memories that are allowing me to make everything here make more sense. So this is happening on a very subconscious level for me. So it's not like so consciously like, okay, I have like this memory and now I'm using, it's like, it's a soul thing. It's more of it's a subconscious memory soul thing, because the way I'm experiencing life, although similar to the way I experienced life in the past, isn't the same. So technically there's like no going back in time. It's just about going back into my own space where I can simulate and learn from myself from my own memory. It's like being your own movie producer. Like you're using your own light to communicate with yourself, right? This is the idea of virtual reality we see in real life, okay? But it's just that they're weaponizing it and saying you can't do it internally. But this is what you do when you imagine, okay? So this is even before you're born. You're imagining how you're going to connect with the universe. So once you're doing that enough, like that in and of itself is a world that becomes its own universe. And now it's like, you don't need to connect with the universe. You see that? Like you don't need anyone. You see that? Like this is Hermes mode. You see this? Hermit mode. You don't need it. You're connected with yourself so hard. You're self-sustaining. So now people, if they want to get connected to you, they have to get on your level, or they have to vibe at the resonance of your space. And now you're not in the chaos of the universe or whatever. Greetings on Mother Earth. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. Do you have a lot of friends? I do. I do have a lot of friends. I have too many friends. I need to cut more people off. I try to cut people off, but they stay. And then I'm like, shit, I guess you're supposed to stay. My bad. And, that's just life, whatever. I'm not really trying to cut people off, of course. It's just the way I communicate. It's hard for people to, for example, this is a very basic example too. This is like the most prominent example. I had way more friends back when I ate more. Once I started fasting, I lost a lot of friends. Because a lot of people, I learned that humans relate on consuming the same thing. And once they didn't relate with me on consumption, they didn't feel like they could relate with me on being creative. And then that's where I lost those kinds of friends, right? So this is the point. The more you get in your ego, your fire, your creative imagination, the more you be alone, AKA be alone with your space, your imagination, your projection, the less people can connect with you. So me fasting was a representation of me being alone and starting to connect more with my ego versus the world. Because of course the whole world around me is telling me not to fast, even though my whole religion is telling me to fast because Jesus fasted. So why would I be stupid? But somehow the world that is worshiping the sacrifice of Jesus is like, no, he fasted so you don't have to. He talked to God so you don't have to. I'm like, I want to talk to God. And then boom, I learned that me as God, I'm Metatron. You can look me up. Metatron is literally Enoch, literally Hermes, literally Tahuti. And I'm letting you know that Enoch, as the messenger of God, does not serve the one true God. I serve my space of Mercury, and Mercury, as a messenger of God, serves all individuals. All of you. I'm serving, like me doing this live stream is technically serving you. And then just being here, again, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be alive. Like, I don't care about being here. I'm here because I was called here. I'm here on a mission. So it's because I care about how people are connecting in the universe that I'm communicating in this way. That's why I'm communicating so long, even. Like, that's why you'll see me do a live. I did a live for 7 hours the other day, bro. What? All because I care about communicating about the connections in the world and how everyone is causing climate change because they're supporting slavery, and how we don't have to. We don't have to. But the only way I can talk about this like this is if I lived in it, right? So I have to be down here. So it's hard. I get that it's hard. Life is hard. I have empathy infinitely for every one of you. That's why my spirit family sends me down here. Okay. My family doesn't want to be down here. They'll support me, but actually being down here like this is hard. You have to really be lost in your desire to connect with someone else to be down here. So this is the whole point. Like physical reality is full of way more like unfulfilled spirits who like are not happy with themselves, versus spiritual reality and thus more the astral realm. These are the spirits who are fulfilled in themselves. So they're naturally expressing and creating life. And it's just like, it's a different vibe. Way better party. Way better party. Oh my God. I had like the best birthday, like doing, I basically separated my mind from my body, went, hung out with Anubis, went and partied in a bunch of different atmospheres. And it was super lit because I was listening to this song, Children by Escala. I don't know if you know the song. If you do, it's a banger. If you don't, it's a banger. So regardless, it's a banger. So don't take credit for it. Don't, like, perfect example of a religion. A religion will have no idea who a musician is. A musician will create whole art from their soul, and that's that musician being God. But then the religion will come along and be like, whoa, nice music. That's an expression of our God. We're going to eat it and ignore your individuality and ignore your music. So if you haven't heard of this song, just know it's an expression of these artists, not an expression of whatever religion you believe in or blah, blah, hilarious. So the whole point here is it's a party in the astral realm a lot. All right. This is a big work vibe down here. And on my birthday, I got to go see how much of a party it was. But the thing was, and it was so weird. It was so cathartic. Like it was so wild how real separating my mind from my body is. Like it literally feels more real than being here. Like down here, this feels like a fake playland. This feels like like literally this reality right now feels like a fake ass playland, a plastic play world where spirits just go to learn and build and tear down shit and like transform and just be like big ass kids basically. Right. So then that's where all these like adults in the world who act like they're smart, they're just big ass kids. And they're just weaponizing everything they stole from other big ass kids who are more mature about how they existed in this world. Because the point is we're all children. When you know that your mind is a child of God, you see that you'll always be a big ass kid. You see that? So I was just like, my birthday was super lit because it was like partying in all those atmospheres where I'm seeing how everyone can just like use their mind to cultivate their own world where they can create their own vibe. And it made so much sense. Like it like completely made sense. That's why I can communicate about it now. I had to experience it. Like it was like, oh, it's not like that's, yeah, like this is lit. And I like, we're going from party to party, right? So it's no different than like down here, because then we bring heaven to earth. I think about when I was in college and there would be like 6 parties in one night. Those parties are not all expressions of one God. These parties are not all expressions of one religion. There's many different religions at these parties. So now what? If we start to bring up God, people are going to argue. So again, I as Hermes, individual messenger of the God, of the universe, of everybody, can see how no matter what, we're all individuals connecting as individuals. Like you can get 10 Jewish people, 10 Muslims, 10 Christians, 10 of every single other religion in the universe and bring them into different parties, and they're all still going to party. And you would only start to fight if you tried to get them to agree on which God was true. It's that simple. But it's always going to be individuals connecting with other individuals. And then that's where, of course, obviously, most of these people who believe in religions didn't build them. That's why I have to be here as the actual builder to clarify things. And I don't care if you believe me or not. I'm literally building a structure right now that has nothing to do with you. If you want it to have something to do with you, then you are still here. Cool. If you're not, then you're just here to consume life. Because the fact is, if you believe in a religion that I know I created, but you only care about using it to consume, and you don't care about the actual logical history, you don't care about the actual past of it, you don't care about the universe overall, then that shows me you're in your ego, but you want to say that we're all one God to somehow rationalize you bringing your ego into the universe in a way that's destructive, but not taking responsibility for it. And then that's where my gripe isn't even with you. If you're somebody like that, you've been programmed by TV and the government and this language and the system we're in. So again, bigger battles. Suffering is an illusion. Okay. Everything is good. See, people have bad intentions. Hermes a homie. I think it's weird to claim to be Hermes, which is a Greek god idea, not Native American. And again, so your idea of Hermes is Greek, but me as an indigenous individual, I'm expressing myself throughout civilizations. So when you actually look into Hermes and see that he's a messenger of God, and then you see that he's the same spirit as Quetzalcoatl and Thoth, now you can get a little more wisdom as to, oh, wait, but if Hermes is Greek and also Egyptian, then maybe it's more complicated than I thought. See, like, boom. And now you can learn more. Okay. Cause that's the point. All right. Hermes, Thoth, and Quetzalcoatl are all the same spirit. So don't get lost in the culture. Like you're getting lost in being like, oh, how can you claim to be native if you're also Hermes, who's Greek? Bro, I'm everything and nothing. The whole point is, as a spirit, we have to create something to express ourselves. So it's about the energy. The energy of being indigenous is being an individually creative individual. So this is why as Hermes, I'm so individually creative. I built my own structure that facilitates astrology. And all of the religions that anyone can really believe in are using astrology, which means they're using Mercury. So any religion is going to be built off of Mercury just vibrationally right off the bat if it's practicing astrology. That's how I can cut shit up real hard. And it doesn't really matter like how much you believe in your religion. Like I'm going to see the lostness that you're at. And then I'm going to try and like cut up the words to leave you with your spirit, right? So you're not lost in the demon energy. And then if you can communicate with yourself differently in a way that heals you, I did my job. But I know only you can really communicate with yourself. But I have to like help you communicate with yourself. So this is why you're watching me talk to myself. No one else is here. Shit. It feels like we're here talking because I got the vibe, whatever. I have the atmosphere cultivated. Like we are connecting in this astral realm way. But obviously you're not here physically right now. So it's all again vibrational astral realm shit. You're right, because it's you that filter the environment. You never know. They can learn. What's so negative about the 3D human experience? Being lost in the flesh, thinking that you are something. When you think that you are something, you become scared of being nothing. So this is where fear is. So that's what is so negative about the 3D human experience. Thinking you are the light that you created to experience life. So now because you don't know that your soul is generating a heartbeat to bring this light to life that you imagined first before expressing yourself through it, now you're scared of leaving it. And this is where all religions are lost in their imagination. Again, like people will get their feelings hurt for me to say that, but it's like, no, there's no reality to your religion. Your religion was first imagined and then it was brought to reality by the people who believed in it. But this is why you literally always have to believe in yourself before you even write a book. So every religion was built from people's imaginations of them thinking something that was unrelatable and then connecting it through something relatable. And then that has to be the language. And this is why religions kind of change throughout language, but the ideas stay the same. And then really ideas are expressions of individuals. So I, as an individual spirit, created the idea of Mercury. And thus I created all of the ideas connected to Mercury. So this is me as CymaTree connecting all of my ideas so we can actually gain clarity on the world that we're in. Because of course, none of you can see life from my perspective at all. And like nearly, no, like it's insane. Like the whole point, like that's the space. Like our spaces are so separate. So like my space is so separate from the rest of space. And it takes me communicating in a certain way to travel through space to make something happen, you know, as far as lack of better words. Nah. Bro, why is you still here? Is you subconsciously learning and don't want to admit it? Hilarious to that guy. Yeah, I mean, that's how people do be though. All right. People be in here spitting fire. They want to project, say whatever, but they're like, if they're listening, they're subconsciously brought here and they're still waiting in this connection. They're still waiting in this vibration. All right. They're still getting the wisdom. Now they can be in their ego because they just want to consume and eat, but whatever. People got to eat, I guess. You don't gotta eat, but people gotta eat. We are the evolution of the atom. Each of us is a glorious thing. We are creating atoms to express our imaginations, but our imaginations are nothing until we create something. So we are not the evolution of the atom. We create atoms to express our imaginations. And because our imaginations are constantly evolving, we are using atoms to constantly evolve. Simple. Like I just explained all of quantum physics. Simple. This is why animals evolve. Simple. So simple. Like, because we have an imagination first, and when we connect with that imagination, we create a soul, and that soul allows us to vibrate our mind into existence. And our mind creates an atom to express its imagination. So this is why this body is how many motherfucking atoms? Like so many atoms being brought together by this one mind. So I can communicate. Art Institute of Miami, designer gang. Absolutely. Way to go. Hey, look, I know people, college is a scam, whatever, but also I love college for the connections that it can provide and the ability to meet other people, other artists, because that's what life is about, right? Is it not? Like the whole point of you stepping outside of your space as a spirit is like, this party's only worth going to if I'm going to meet cool people always, right? Like a party is not worth going to. A space is not worth going to. This planet wouldn't be worth going to if I didn't know I was going to meet cool people. So again, I chose to be born here because I knew that spirits were going to receive me in the way that allows us to stop climate change. So I don't care about the people who aren't receiving me well right now. They don't matter. Like I'm building a structure that I've been building structures like this that they've been eating for eons. Like they don't matter. They're just demons in the universe, and they're learning how to be more angelic every day because they aspire to God. But their version of aspiring to God is just eating the creations of me and then telling me that I'm not the God that created them. Like literally look up Hermes, see that Hermes created the caduceus, and know that I created both of these to express my space. And now you understand spirituality. My space doesn't exist until I create something to represent it. And that's the point of any body, any symbol, any sign. These are all atoms, particles of light that only mean something based on how you've been taught to connect with them. It's that simple. It's like that. It's that simple. It's so that simple. We can make it more complex, but whatever. Reason why the metaverse is created, right? To connect all of us and make money off of us and cause climate change. And allow them to destroy the planet and make it look like Mars, and we don't care because we're just plugged into lights constantly broadcasting into our eyes. Identifying with belief structures is only for the benefit of belief structures, not people's souls. Absolutely. I promise you, as Hermes Trismegistus, every single religion is built by people who like barely believe in it. I promise you. Like the people who believe in religion are the people being manipulated by people who simply want to make money off of these ideas. Like, and this is why you're going to see that the people who build religions do not follow their own rules. It's that simple. And I'm just here as Hermes, like, bro, why can't you be happy alone? And they're just like, we need other people's energy. We need to suck their blood. They're just like, there's so many vampires in the universe. It makes me sick. It makes me blah. Man, I'm here on family business, bro. This is hilarious. Because it's like esoterically, I'm hanging out with my family right now. So that's also where like, you're not seeing where my mind is at. But when I really get into a certain state of communication, like I'm channeling my spirit from my space into this space. And there's technically multiple spaces in between that space. So even though I'm experiencing myself through this body, my mind itself isn't just in this body, because the point is this body is always operating from the first structure that I created in the universe, which is Mercury. So like, that's literally my spidey sense. This is how Spider-Man is stolen from me, because every messenger from Mercury, this is why the caduceus represents peace, because the whole idea of Spider-Man and Hermes having the caduceus in general is about being the peace keeper, the peace maker in that way, and being so connected with one structure that you can navigate the chaos of the world. So you're fast, right? So now Hermes is a god of being quick and fast, and he can do backflips. And Spider-Man, it can swing around the city, and he has spidey sense. He can feel someone thinking about hurting him before they even do it. Right? I'm telling you that that's because he's on hermetic science of being connected to the astral realm. So when a spirit is thinking, I'm going to shoot Spider-Man, Spider-Man feels that thought and it's like ding, and his soul is like, oh, and then he just flips. That's Hermes, bro. All this shit. All right. Great power comes great responsibility. So when you know that you have the power to be connected to yourself, then you have the power to navigate the universe in a way that basically like keeps you safe. And like, this is like where you get trust. Like a lot of people have issues with trust. I can struggle with trust, because this is where we're talking about like believing in the invisible force. That's what brings anyone to religion, right? Like anyone comes to religion because they're trying to believe in the invisible, but they want the invisible to make sense. Because technically history is invisible, right? We can see the product of history, but like, bro, all these stories that we're talking about are invisible. Like all the stories they're made visible through matter, but we know matter is light that's turned heavy and dense. So everything's a product of the imagination. And then this is just, again, about truly being in resonance with your soul. Word. Google has an agenda. Everything has an agenda. I mean, I have an agenda, or else I wouldn't be up here. So the whole point of an agenda is that it's like an expression of your individuality. But I mean, if you're going to say like Google has an agenda that's like nefarious or like really negative, then yeah, I mean, that's fair. Again, like that's like the world we're in, sadly. Again, like your agenda, literally think about your agenda for the day. You wake up, what's your agenda for the day, right? Like that's a schedule. So Google's working on a schedule. Like everyone's working on a certain schedule. I think maybe people have a negative connection with agenda. So just think like schedule, you know, like an agenda is a schedule. So you can't have a schedule. You can't have a structure without a schedule. So your body has an agenda to keep you alive, right? So now it's working off of a structure that makes sense, and we can call that DNA or whatever. And like science will like start to come up with logic about that. The empire never ended. It just changed form. Facts. Wonderful people. Someday we'll find it. The rainbow connection. The lovers of dreams in me. I don't know what that means. You've got it. You are the rainbow connection. You are the lover and the dreamer. You're forever yourself. I don't see the problem here. And you're connected with us right now then. So way to go. What's your view about Islam? Islam was stolen from Zoroastrianism. So Islam, Judaism, and Christianity, they are all Zoroastrianism. So Zoroaster, as a messenger of Mercury, is literally talking about what I'm talking about here. But it's been super lost in translation because people want you to believe that we are all expressions of one God. So again, that's basic history you can look up. And then if you want to really learn about that deeper, link in my bio, website. Who's your mentor? Me. On Mercury or on Earth? How did you grow to be so wise? Connecting with myself. Separating my mind from my body. Here, my mentor is my dog. I'm going to say that. My life completely changed when I started being able to fast and get to the psychedelic mode of communicating with my dead dog. Because I wanted to and I missed him so hard. And now I understand how we actually create simulations and life works the other way. I'm using my death to bring life to this body. So like I'm technically able to hang out with him right now if I were to just go meditate and go use my mind to connect with him, because my soul is eternal. Okay, so my soul is eternal. So my mind is always connected to my spirit by my soul. When you understand this elemental alchemy, you can see how you then use your mind to build a body that matters because of your soul, but you're not that body. So I can separate my mind from my body, leave my body alive. My body's heart is still beating because it's still connected to my space, but I'm not consciously channeling my ego into it. I'm aware of Atlantis now. I'm aware of Mercury now. I'm aware of another simulation. And I promise you that shit's more real than here. Promise you. This place is fake as fuck. But it feels real because we make it real. This is why people are like all freaking out here about like, what's real? Are we in a simulation? Yeah, bro, this place is fake as fuck. Like, you're supposed to be real enough internally that you bring reality to this place and you're not freaking out about what's real. Man, so true. Reject what doesn't. But honestly, I agree with everything so far. Keep it up. You're protected, so speak freely. That's cute. I appreciate it. I do like to feel protected. I appreciate you telling me I'm protected. I do really appreciate that. Koter, thank you. I am. There's a lot of this. This operation is big. I'm really needed in this reality. And a lot is working in tandem together to make sure I can get this message out to you, to make sure I got up to the point. I've had a crazy ass life. Y'all, support CymaTree on YouTube. Support CymaTree in general on the internet. All right. Cause you don't even have to agree with this past life shit. But just know I'm spitting all this alchemy stuff and all this self-help, spiritual, subconscious communication stuff, for lack of better words, as CymaTree. But the point is, I'm developing upon my soul, and my soul has expressed itself through all these past life bodies. So I'm the only one who can connect all the messengers of Mercury like this. And that's why with great power comes great responsibility. It's my responsibility to build this structure. So like a tree, again, this is why a tree doesn't care what religion you believe in. The tree's power is that it can grow. And thus it's the tree's responsibility to grow. So it's my responsibility to grow. It doesn't matter what religion you have about who I am and how you want to colonize my tree and consume me and use my resources for your own. The point is, I'm growing as an individual. Damn. Yeah. Exactly. I'm about to take a 20 bill and cross it out and put 100 and go to the bank and say, this is my law. Bro, for real. Right? Like, then what can they do but say, well, actually, that's not how we set it up. Like, but you didn't care about how things were set up here. Well, yeah, but we raped and murdered them. Like, okay, this world's hard. It takes us communicating. Like, that's why I support that idea. All right. So in the astral realm, no, I support your idea. And that's a big amount of change. Mercury, Hermes, Odin, Shiva. You know what? Let me not get into that. Oh man, this is super interesting. Wish I was here after this story. I feel that. I just seen a spider crawl in your hair. Ha! You're hilarious, true Spider-Man. What advice can you give to fulfill one's life? With a demon emoji. You're hilarious. Lucifer is king, son. You have a hilarious name. Funny as fuck. How long did you fast again? I fasted for 24 days. I fasted for 19 days. I fasted for like 5 days, a lot. 10 days. Many, like a lot, months. And then it's Enoch in past lifetimes. Years. Do you think you'll have kids? I think not. Do you like both genders? I like women. I've hosted many kickbacks and parties. Absolutely. Are you the only god from Mercury? I'm the only spirit that built Mercury. So any god from Mercury is an expression of me as a spirit. So anyone that you identify as a god is my spirit vibrating a body into existence. So now this body can be identified as a god throughout this time. And then my spirit holds on to those memories. And then in another time, it does the same thing, but differently. So now it can develop upon what it was doing with its own structure. And it can be a different god, right? So it can be Hermes one life, Odin one life, Quetzalcoatl another life, but they're all one water cycle, one spirit connecting with the universe at different times. So then it's just like time is what we're always developing upon. Hermes is also Odin. And Shiva, just through different cultural lenses. See, and I was saying I didn't want to get into that. My spirit has not talked to me shit about Shiva. If Shiva is literally a messenger of Mercury that is an expression of my space, then I literally have not been told about it yet. And this is literally like Avatar. So think about, if you've ever seen Avatar, Avatar makes this really easy for me to make relatable as fuck, at the very least. Aang has no idea about all of his past lives until he goes into that specific Avatar state, and then his spirit is showing him what's relevant at the right time. So I don't necessarily feel that. Like, I would have to go do my investigation because that hasn't been my ego journey yet. Like, my awareness isn't in that space. So the space of my spirit that would hypothetically be Shiva for this to be real, I have not connected to that. Now, my spirit is creating me. So if it's true, then that'll be developed upon later. But right now, letting you know that it's like an Avatar, where Aang literally has to learn about his past lives from his past lives. So this is how spirits talk to themselves. You feel me? Like, this is literally how spirit, like, will use one part of his space to talk to another part of his space. And then that'll play out in the universe based on, again, just the soul vibration shit. Literally vibration soul. So I would have to see if that's really true. I feel nothing about that right now. I'm simply observing that idea being thrown out. Yes. Those ones asking the questions is a troll. Yes, I've been needing this. Yes, lol. One time I was meditating, the caduceus appeared to me in my mind. The caduceus represents how you create your body by having sex with yourself. So perhaps that meant that if you were meditating, you were creating your own body because you're observing your own space instead of like watching a movie or going out to hang out with people or like eat food or like go do a bunch of stuff. So I created the caduceus to represent you building your own structure from the inside out. If you're meditating, perhaps that's the vibration you're in to get that kind of sign to you, because that's what it means in the universe. What's so important about Earth? It seems like all the gods are from Earth. The point about Earth is that we create it to connect with other spirits. So Earth is important because your soul is water and your soul wants to connect with other souls. So your soul is your individual universe, but Earth is basically the universe that is created from all of us connecting with each other. So now we can choose to relate on whatever we find relatable, right? So we're on Earth right now, but everything that matters to you only matters to you because of your soul. So if me speaking like this didn't matter, I wouldn't be up here doing a live stream. And then if you listening to me didn't matter, you wouldn't be here doing that. So that's how we're using Earth to connect with each other, literally. So it's not about gods being from Earth. Gods create Earth. So all gods like look like they're from Earth or whatever. But the point is we create Earth to connect with each other. And then again, it's about if you're indigenous to the Earth that you're in, or if you're an alien to the Earth that you're in. If you're an alien to the Earth that you're in, then you took it over. If you're indigenous, then you came out of the structure that you built. So there's a difference between building the structure versus stealing the structure. So as an indigenous individual, I'm the spirit that built all these religions, whereas the spirits that make money off these religions stole them, so they barely even understand them anyway. Is the Earth flat? No. The Earth is not flat. The Earth looks pretty flat. That's hilarious. Because it's like blocked out and everything. We get streets and levels. My water fast was lit. How do you meditate? LA is on fire. Protect the homeless. I know, right? Mercury's God is there while they're all having a party. Bro, I really wish people would take climate change seriously and just like come get connected. Like I am here. Like I'm literally right here in LA, really caring about this stuff. But again, like we're already talking about, the richest of the rich people, they are in the scarcity mindset to where they have $1 billion and they don't want to give it out. They don't want to do good in the world. They don't want to help anyone. They want to get another billion and hoard onto it because this imaginary idea matters more to them than empathy, nature. It's weird. Avatar: The Last Airbender drops some real truth. It low-key drops everything. Like, Avatar is like probably the deepest show here. I'm gonna be real. Facts. Dreams, bro, natural trip for sure. How long do you meditate for? Yeah. I meditate for as long as necessary. It changes. I mean, when I meditate, I can meditate for like, it'll be 20 minutes here, but then it'll feel like 5 years in the space that I'm in or the atmosphere I'm in because time's moving differently there. So because time is moving differently in this different space, I'll be there for like what feels like 10 years. But then when I come back, I'm like, yo, look at my phone. What? 10 minutes? Snap. And that's literally how time is different in different atmospheres. It's about like what vibration the water's moving at and everything. So like, for example, time is speeding up here, not because time's actually speeding up, but because people are actually getting more stressed out. And this technology and everything is speeding up our heartbeats. So the faster our hearts are beating on a normal basis, the quicker we are moving time. So now we feel like time's speeding up in general. But if we were living a more relaxed indigenous lifestyle, not like an alien workforce, always stressed out to get the next morsel, next thing lifestyle, scarcity lifestyle, then time would feel like it's going much slower for most people. Reason why the 1% is trying to control Earth, separate the people, media, politics, etc. Absolutely. It's pretty wild. We're in here. Bro, life is crazy. Okay, so this is just a quick live stream. All right, about, man, what was this even about? This is about like us creating the circumstance to connect. Basically, me developing upon you being an individual God that has to have your own circumstances before you can choose to connect that with other individual gods. So you being in a human body right now is learning who you are outside of your own space. And the sooner you realize that you are an individual space that can imagine itself as an ego and then connect with itself as a soul, the sooner you're going to understand your mind, your mental atmosphere. Now you literally are going to like comprehend how your mind is created, how your mind's mental atmosphere communicates through Earth. And now you're not going to get lost in Earth. Okay. So this is what I'm always about through all of space and time. This is what I was on before, what I'm on now, and we're just constantly developing it. Okay. So you're beautiful. Your muscles are beautiful. Your mind is beautiful. Everything that matters to you is an expression of your soul. Okay. So all the matter in your life, all the earth in your life is technically an expression of, boom, your soul. Your body right here, all this matter is an expression of your connection with yourself. It's just you want to connect it with others. So here we are making sense of it. All right. So I'm out of here. Visit chaseyourgenes.com if you want to hear more, high key. And again, check out Synchronicity, the podcast. Like, you can hop off here real quick and just like listen to that podcast because I go way deeper and way harder. I get to like be uncensored on my podcast. Here, I have to like very consciously flip my communication to make sure I don't see this ban out of nowhere and like get locked out of my account. Life. Peace. Yeah. I'm out of here. Gang.